What's up? How's it going? I'm gonna keep tonight kind of simple, pretty much like last night. I'm gonna go ahead and actually throw a duty finder up and get this going while I'll babble about what's gonna happen tonight. Just gonna be doing some Hidden Gorge, running some Rival Wings. The group's popping tonight. So I've heard. Also, probably gonna try to do more Seiryu. I guess we'll see how it goes. I tried last night, and it seemed like we just really couldn't get a party together, so hopefully that's not the case again tonight. Hopefully things go very well. We'll see. On another note, I'm early. I just really wanted to be able to get in here and get in some of the good cues. Last night, I don't even think I got a single victory in Rival Wings, and there's nothing more salty than a good grind that you just didn't even bear any fruit to. So hopefully that's not the case tonight. And again, you know, I'd really want to do some Seiryu. I was really hoping we could last night, and I guess it was just so late, and parties were just not having it. Couldn't get that tank, so maybe that won't be the case tonight. I would love to get a third clear, maybe a fourth and fifth, maybe all the way up to 99 if I have to before. Oh god, I don't want to have to do it 99 times before I get the mount. Man, we'll see though. Hopefully things go better than that. But I did it with Byakko. I would do it again if I had to. So hopefully everybody's doing very well. I didn't even get on Discord and let anybody know I was going to be on here. So we'll see as long as, or see people as they show up. I'm just going to go ahead and get my gold saucer shenanigans out of the way. There's a few things I could do. Just a few. Oh, man. There's the pop. That luckily didn't take too long. It's like the longest loading screen I've ever had to sit through. Really hope I can get a few victories tonight. Really love that. Okay, 40 seconds. Living. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Isn't it weird to think of 0 as a number, but it definitely is a number? It's the absence of numbers, but it's still considered a number. Math is crazy. So is science. Good crazy. Okay. Oh, shit. Azunami, hello. It was a bit random. I was actually, I'd planned on doing the Surge because it was a game I wanted to play a couple of years ago. And, it was actually free on the PlayStation Market this month. For, you know, PlayStation Plus subscribers, that is. And, I don't know, I found, like, a little less free time for my day than what I thought I would have. I occupied myself trying to, like, educate myself and research some things, pertaining to kind of real-life shit, So I was really getting into all that, so I got a lot less free time than what I'd initially planned on having. And, I mean, it wasn't without waste, obviously. But yeah, ended up just thinking, you know, today's not the day to actually start a whole new game. And I've got the extra time, why not use it, playing some Final Fantasy XIV, making some progress. Doing stuff, I don't know. But yeah, Azunami, glad you could make it. How are you this evening? How was your Sunday? Hopefully it was very good. They're just out to get me. Where's one of those thingies? Get me back up there. These guys are crazy. What type of game is it? Never heard of that game. It's kind of like Dark Souls, but it's like futuristic and post-apocalyptic. So it's like Dark Souls meets like Far Cry. It's more like, not even Far Cry really though. Like, it's more like Dark Souls meets like Fallout meets, I want to say Mobile Suit Gundam, but it's not even quite that, really. Because it's not really... I don't know. Like, I've not really played the game myself. I've seen multiple trailers. But yeah, it was just like... It's a game basically set up like Dark Souls. And, it's just like futuristic and post-apocalyptic, you know? A lot of like mech enhancements on like the human race kind of thing. It's a game I eventually do want to get around to playing, but it's something I'm definitely going to have to try to find time for, see how it really goes in time. I know there's no point in really even being here anymore, and I promise I'm trying to get away, but I keep getting stuck at this weird, like, momentum spot where I'm just like, I'm trying to break away, but, you know, they keep attacking me and are shoving me around. The other objectives on the other side now. Steven, what's up? And Rez, glad you can make it. You actually just finished grinding PvP. Nice. I am on early today. Yeah, Steven. Really didn't have a whole lot going on. Minato! Hello? Hello? Glad you can make it. What game is this that you're talking about? Oh, The Surge. It was a game like 2 years ago it came out. I was so stoked about it. And, I never really found the time to play it. I ended up doing the streaming thing. And, honestly, there was about a full year of only Final Fantasy that I was undergoing. Then there was a few months of Final Fantasy and Persona. And it just got lost in the games. It sounds epic. The way you described it. Well, I mean, man, if it wasn't for copyright infringement and shit, I'd look up a trailer. I don't really know what would flaw in it. I think they use copywritten music and all kinds of shit in the trailers, but it's definitely worth looking up, you know. The trailers look sick as well, the way they were set up. It's initially the biggest thing that obviously talked me into wanting to play the game. Like, just the brief description of it already sounds very nice. But, like, you know, that's just like one of those on paper type things, you know? Anything sounds good on paper. I really, myself, don't really know how good or how well the game plays out. I am glad that it seems like I'm having a little bit better of a team than what I had last night, though. Here in Hidden Gorge, for the first team anyway. I haven't been on very long. Uh-oh. Shit, I was hoping to get like one Asaz out there one more time. Just one more! One more bang before they took me out. Didn't happen. I really want to mech up, but I don't want to be a dick because that other dude actually called it right off the bat. Oh man, they are catching up very quickly. Got a fucking army of mammoths coming at us, that's why. Shrouded by a crowd of healers. Holy shit! Not just healers, Australogian Ninja, Paladin, Red Mage, Scholar. Got a whole clan out there. Holy shit. Our core just took heavy fucking damage. Those mammoths are some bastards, let me tell you. Let me tell you. Shit. Why is it one man taking on like a half army over here? I'm a mere white mage. Only do little damage. I just forgot about something. So, Riz. Wait, is Riz here? Yeah, Riz is here. I thought so. And Minato. If it works out better tonight, last night was kind of a fluke. Are both of you up for actually, running some, Seiryu tonight? I mean, I know I dipped last night, and I hate that as well. It's terrible of me. But, like, no, it'd totally be awesome if we could actually get in there tonight. You know, it's a big if, I know. I mean, obviously, it didn't happen last night. But, you never know. Nice. Down goes that tower! Oh, and their core is at 35. Nice. Okay, I definitely thought that was about to hit me. Ugh! Sometimes the target system can be such shit. I was trying my best to get that red mage to just knock him out of the way over there. Sure, nice. You want to help with Seiryu Azunami? Cool. Last night it seemed like we had to wait like forever just to get like 6 other people. Well, I shouldn't say 6 because there was 3 of us there by default. So 3 other people. Wait, that's still not enough. 4 other people, and we still needed 1 more. Sorry, I've nearly broke my brain today. I've been literally, like, researching code, like, all day today. Just, like, trying to, like, make sense of it in a better understanding. I would really like to make a better future, in some sense, out of that. So I've been really trying to work with trying to learn as much of it as I can. And I realize why now college semesters are in, like, increments of weeks and not compiled into 1 day. Because I literally feel like I have broke my brain today with all the information I've compiled into it. Like, fun fact, there's actually, like, college lectures that you can just fucking YouTube. Which is fucking crazy. There's actually college professors who have quit working at colleges and decided to make YouTube channels instead. That's also super legit. Complete a thing. And I've been taking advantage of that knowledge all day today. And let me tell you again, brain broken. Like, woke up today, straight up potato. Going to bed tonight, slightly mashed potato. Maybe slightly deep fried mashed potato. You never know. It's up there. Knowledge is, yeah, wow. Let me tell you. I've also, like, this is obviously no secret, got a victory, sweet, but obviously no secret, lately, I've also been, like, researching a lot of things to do with space, and, man, mixing computer science, coding, and space knowledge, oh, man, it will definitely just start brain fucking you. You'll end up getting mashed potatoes that are deep fried for a brain. So much knowledge. Yeah, it's been a hell of a day. That's really where a lot of my time went. Instead of playing the Surge today, like I said I was going to, instead I just did research and just tried to educate myself in a field that I'm not so familiar with, and that's computer science. And obviously space. I've never been to space, but that's not just happened today. That's been happening. But computer science and coding today, I've been really trying to like lay in on that one. And again, wow. It just goes so in depth. It's one of those things like, you know when you're trying to like research something that you have a theory on? So you build upon that idea and it leads to so many other theories that lead you down so many other paths. Computer science is exactly the exact same way. Like one little pinhole you try to find yourself in, it leads to like 15 different branches. It's insane. Fundamentals? That's why we start with the basics, the fundamentals. Yeah. See, that's where I've been. And see, that's the cool and funny thing also about computer science. The basic fundamentals are just as complex as computer science itself. You just kind of get it, or you just don't. And that's basically where I've been all day. It's just trying to get a better understanding to it by researching more of the basics and fundamentals before I dive too heavy into it. And I think it's gonna go well. There's a lot of interesting videos out there that people have made. There's also a lot of really cool programs that a lot of college professors and their students and the peers amongst them have actually created too, that you can actually use for free on the internet. And it's insane how many things that you can actually access on the internet that can actually help you learn things, like real knowledge here, and put it to your best ability for free. It is amazing that there are people out there willing to put things out there like that. So, real talk, if, you're the warrior of Lot, and you get put up against Behemoth over here, which looks scary, don't get me wrong, or Fenrir, who we know what the fuck this bitch can do, with a face like that, who are you gonna be more afraid of? Don't get me wrong, this face, it's got the face of a Behemoth, obviously, but, I mean, come on, look at this thing. They gave this guy an ugly face. If I woke up one morning and Choco looked like this, I'm not even going to the vet. I am leaving my apartment. I am locking the door. And you know what? I'm not even going to worry about the dog food being open. I 100% believe that she will not only eat that dog food, probably bag and all, not only eventually figure out pretty fucking quick how to open up that refrigerator. I've seen what Fenrir can do. Not only that, I believe, with the fundamentals and capabilities of a Fenrir, those doors aren't going to last long. So even if I close and lock the door and hope humanity's safe, oh man, it's not at all. A Behemoth, I feel like we can take this down. It's 2019. It's a Behemoth. What's he gonna do? Shock us? Yell at us? Bot somebody? Fenrir, on the other hand, he's throwing ice pillars at people. Real shit. And look at this size comparison. Crazy. Would be scared of neither because far for. Uh-oh. They noticed me. Ah! Should have stopped faster. Oh well, they got a big push coming at us though. A really big one. So what are the odds? I'm in the exact same top of team I was a second ago. Only instead of a warrior being in the team, we have a paladin. Everything else is the same. I guess odds can't be, I mean, that far off, really. I mean, realistically, thinking about it now, it's like, you know, it's not that uncommon, probably. I didn't see anybody say they wanted to make this time, so I'm gonna go out on a limb, and actually try to grab one, maybe. We could definitely use it for help right now. And that person just spawned off, and they're going for a mech. I got it first! It's okay. They were speechless. I saw them stand there for a very long time. That's also okay. Dude, you're oppressoring wrong. That doesn't do that much damage to any of us. He's totally over here playing the offense. And he's a warrior. Man. Still made it over there, though. I'll give it to him. Is that one destroyed now? It is. I love how, like, with Hidden Gorge here, you can actually, like, see the towers in the distance really well. Like, that was the thing with Ostrogalos. They were, like, nestled in, like, so many things around them. You could not just, like, glance around the corner like, oh, did we destroy that? Oh, yeah, you know, we got that tower. Don't gotta go over there. I can go to that one now. Like, that really was, like, that big flaw with Ostrogalos, how it's, like, honestly, too, as well, you know, the blue starts off on, like, a hill, while red's more of, like, yeah, they're on a hill, but they're in the valley. And, it just gave, like, such a disadvantage of actually being able to see the terrain for what it actually is. And Hidden Gorge completely eliminates every bit of that, which is really nice. And I really feel like I've undertaken this brass part of this song and really undersold it, because I am feeling it right now. Like, I honestly feel like my soul is just, like, increasing in, fortitude as we speak. Like, listen to that. That's soul. We're just getting direct feed. Thank you, YouTube. Sorry, not been paying attention? You've been crafting? I'm offended. 2019, I'm allowed to be offended by that. I'm offended by your lack of acknowledgement. Got a little bit closer. Good deal. Oh man, we got a very nice heavy push going on. go. Get it. Get it. Oh, yes. I didn't think it was going to, and it totally did. Nice. We got stuff happening. Sad part is you're right. You can be offended, but I could also be offended by you being offended. 2019. That is true. That is true. I just literally watched, there's this, I forget the comedian's name, which is terrible to say. I'm really bad with names like that. You wouldn't think I am. But unless, like, you actually, like, interact with me as a physical person in human life, honestly, it's hard for me to remember your name. Actors, it hits me the most. Don't be offended, random actors. But, yes, comedian, a really cool one. Again, I completely forgot his name. Like, is some British guy, I think. I'm not gonna go down that path, because things can get really indifferent then. But yes, he laid in on that factor so well. Hell, like, his like, play on it was, you know, jokes getting taken out of context because people get offended. But, I mean, really, I mean, we are at a weird time like that, where it's like, self-appreciation, and, I don't want to just say self-appreciation, it goes beyond that, really. Self-acknowledgement is just, like, so crazy these days, on how far that people would really go to have something like that, and how far, and what really would offend them, you know? Nice, that's the win. Like, the thing that was really getting to me was the parts that he was breaking down from things. Like, he made, like, a lot of dark jokes. And he was saying things like, it's weird sometimes how people are, like, they pick their part to be offended about, you know? Like, it's not exactly, like, what you're talking about that offended them, really. Like, what it turns out to be, it's like something that was part of what you were talking about. Like a stepstone of, like, the conversation that you were having is the part that offended them. It's like, it could have been, like, the most minor detail of everything, you know? You could have been like, I had a cheese sandwich, followed by, you know, cheese for dessert. It was cream cheese with, like, you know, some berries. And then, like, this is not really happening. You know me with cheese and hypothetical reasons, I'm gonna use it. And then, lastly, you know, you can do all kinds of stuff with cheese. And, you know, there's cheesecake, dessert. Gotcha. So, getting at you with that, you know, really, hey, it's Steven. I don't know. It just only seems right. You know what I mean? To talk about cheese, that is. And, really, though, it is crazy how people could get offended. Like, his thing was like a nut allergy joke, which I'm not going to get into. I agree with him, but it's not really, I guess, in some ways, always appropriate to talk about, like, allergic, ailments or impairments on people, and then trying to find things that are funny about it. I get it, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know. Like, literally, do not ever, like, hands down, if you are, like, an adult and not a child, do not follow a comedian that tells edgy jokes that could eventually fall down on one of the things that you're most sensitive about, and then one day tell him that he offended you because he does what he does for a living, and then finally hit the one point that it got you the most. Like, that, I feel like that's the most underlying thing that gets me about that, is like, that is really the sad truth about it. Like, there are people who literally will follow people, they will joke about the most craziest cataclysms on Earth, the most crazy, cruel, uninviting events on this Earth. They will talk about straight up calamity and laugh. they'll talk about their own death sometimes and laugh. That's insane. But because, like, little Billy Jimmy cousin over here has a peanut allergy and shit happened 5 years ago when you were at Applebee's and, you know, it didn't turn out so well for him, but he's okay now. But you got traumatic experience. Like, just don't follow that comedian. Like, it's gonna happen. One day he's gonna offend you. I hope I didn't offend somebody with that, but it's possible. I could have just offended, like, I'm not even gonna fathom a number, because, like, that's how society works that we live in today. There's little instances that people listen for just a click to just say, oh, not over here, not while I'm thinking what I'm thinking. Mira, what's up? You caught me mid-rant. I love that moment. There's nothing better than the thought process that I have going on of what you're thinking. Anybody, any moment, when they come in on my stream and hear me mid-rant, they're probably like, wow, this guy's like way too passionate about this. I don't even know what he's talking about, but he's going hard, and I'll come back later. Dark comedy meets Snowflake. I mean, that's the real aspect of it, really. Like, you find people with, like, probably not too healthy of a outlook on life, and, like, just that one day, you know, that one click of the comedian's little silver tongue, and they're offended. It's insane. Oh, man. Steven, I actually like how your character looks. I hate that I gotta ask, what, is it a bard? Are you a bard right now? It's gotta be. Yeah, there's the bow, the arrow, the quiver. Looks really cool. Is this like all Suzaku stuff, or... I mean, obviously it would only be the weapon, but I mean, still, I mean, it's like badass. Nice work. Yeah, you did, but you love the rants. I'm glad you love them. I feel like 75% of the population that watched this stream are for like the Choco cameos, and like the other 25 are for the rants. It's like, oh shit, a dog, subscribe. And then, like, you know, they'll see me later on down the road and be like, I wonder if Choco's there. Nah, he's ranting. We'll wait till he goes to a piss break, and the dog will appear. Was on your ninja a few seconds ago? The glam is off the Mog Station. Really? I haven't been on the Mog Station in a bit. I need to pop on there sometime. Need to. Although, couldn't really afford anything right now anyway. In the essence of adulthood, Tonil here has caught himself in a jumble. Not really. I'm just like, I'm trying to like save money and not spend money. And I've had to like spend money, and I'm saving a little less money. But I'm still okay, but it's just like, what a save! Which is why, honestly, it has led me down the career of, like... See, you all, most of you know, that I don't really talk about my job a lot, but I do physical labor. I also run a machine. So, like, being a machine operator, working physical labor, I only make so much money. I've been actually having to do a lot of overtime, which is not cool, but kind of cool. More money, less life. You know. The jumble of the mix of life and everything and being an adult. Which is more important, your life and stability or the money you gotta make to, like, you know, keep up with it? You know, tug of war. That's why I've been trying to get into more computer science, though. So it's a little bit less tug of war, you know, a little bit... It puts me in a different field of life, even at my job, if I wanted to keep pursuing the same job or working in the same area, dude, like, puts me in a different position to be able to do something more fundamentally. Also, expanding my knowledge on something. You can't really ever go wrong with expanding your knowledge on any topic, unless it's I'm not gonna say it. Not gonna say it. But it starts with an R and rhymes with Ian. But like I don't know. It's just I don't know. You know, one of those things. I feel like I'm 25. I gotta figure some shit out. You know, like I've been doing okay, but I need to do more than okay. Like I need to adult. A little bit more. The money, but it takes away from life. It's true. You know those feels? Want to try and upgrade your PC, but fucking bills. No kidding. Fucking bills. Like, literally, who the hell out there is calling their son William Bill? Like, you're the real sadistic motherfucker in the world. That's all I'm saying. Like, if you have a son and you name him William, and later in life you start calling him Bill, wow. You must really hate your son. Because I hate bills, and I would never want to call my child Bill. Like, if I'd literally start looking at my child as just like another Bill in the house, and I'd just like start calling from William to Bill, like, I don't even get the correlation between that. That's a big jump. Like, I feel like the name Bill should have been derived from like the fusion, of like Benjamin and William. Bill makes sense. Maybe Ben and William makes more sense. Maybe Ben and Will makes the most sense. But no, Will, Bill. So I feel like there was just like some guy out there that was feeling like me right now in life. It's like fucking bills. And then he sees his son walk into the room, young William, and he's just like, "Hey Bill, get over here. We need to talk." I'm guessing Bill's probably like 30 by now. Maybe 35. Maybe he's 40. And he's 40 still living with his dad. Maybe it's right that his dad calls him Bill at that point. I don't know. I don't know the stipulations on the calling your son Bill. Just saying. I know it definitely derives from William, so, you know, nobody's pointing fingers, but maybe drawing some arrows. Bill Nye the Science Guy? Well, he's rich. That's different. See, like, he probably called himself Bill at one point in his life. He was probably like, you know, I've been William for probably like, you know, 48 years. I'm going to start being Bill now because I'm going to start charging people to watch me. Yeah, see, that sounds like he was probably full of himself, but let's be real. If you're a scientist and you literally dedicate your life to a TV show based on science that you're telling them, which is your selective science that you want to teach, not science in general that people need to know, you're probably calling yourself Bill because your head's so big. You're like, I'm the Bill. I'm not going to raise him, but you get the point. Your current situation too, so you're not alone. That's adult life. You want Netflix. Fun fact about me and Netflix. I watch a lot of Netflix, right? But I don't pay for it. That's my brother's account. Even better, it's his wife's account, I think. So, yeah. I do Hulu, I do HBO, and I do Amazon. And, I'm not gonna lie, I steal the benefits. It's not really stealing, they gave me the password, so I reap the benefits of Netflix off others. I'm that guy. Cliffhanger. R and ROMs with Eon. Well, maybe it doesn't directly rhyme with Eon. When you say it like that and I say it aloud. Maybe it rhymes with provision. That's better. Hulu is amazing. It is amazing. I love all those ads you see for Hulu as well. You know, there's like, hey, don't put bacon on anything, because, you know, life without bacon, once you've had bacon, it's like, you know, and then they start explaining Hulu, you're like, what? Dude, you should have used cheese. You would have had me sold. Okay, I'm gonna try to quickly do this so I don't get a penalty. I've got to take a very quick restroom break. I'm gonna set my character over here. Manderville Mamba, like a madman. Okay, not gonna Manderville Mamba like a madman. Just gonna Manderville dance like a madman. And I'm gonna make this quick and I'll be right back. So, this is slightly random, kind of off topic. Like, I'm gonna actually look on the chat here. Okay, yeah, back to what I was about to say. This is slightly random, slightly off topic, but not really. Kinda, but not really. But kinda. Like, okay, here's the thing. All I'm saying is, if you don't have a Walmart around your area, which somebody right now is thinking, Ton, you shop at Walmart? Gross. And all I'm about to say is, hear me out. I love Walmart. And let me tell you what. One, it's a one-stop shop. I could pretty much do anything there. I could go buy beer, I could buy groceries, and get my oil changed in like 2 hours. While I'm looking at shit. That's a pretty good trade. Okay, not only that, even if I were to watch it, I just go to like the TV department. They've always got a good movie on. It's usually something Disney. You can't argue with Disney. And if you're sitting here arguing with Disney, all I'm about to say is like 100 years of entertainment. Argue with that. But like, no, for real though. Like, all I'm saying is like, your local stores, you know, they always have their own brand of something. You know, it's a little bit kind of mundane, you know. I don't even want to say that. It's just like a watered down version of something that you're used to. It's like Kool-Aid, for example. Like, a lot of us grew up, you know, 90s babies here, some 80s, maybe some newer generation people here. And it's just like, you know, we grew up with Kool-Aid. You know, we have the Kool-Aid man popping through walls on Family Guy. You know, if you don't know that much about it, you know, Kool-Aid, oh yeah, that guy. Well, damn, I really went hard on that Kool-Aid, didn't I? Well, anyway, what I'm getting at here is, like, think about Kool-Aid and the flavor that it has. Have you ever had an off-brand Kool-Aid? Like, see, growing up, my grandparents always, and yes, a lot of you already know, I grew up with my grandparents, so my grandparents always tried to save penny. They grew up in the conservative generation. They were baby boomers. So they were literally taught from the get-go, what you have now isn't always going to be there. Appreciate it, take care of it, and love what you have. Also, save a penny when you can. So they did. So my grandparents, growing up, they knew kids loved Kool-Aid. There was a billion commercials about it, but they wanted to save money, so they always bought the store brand of things. So I grew up not on Kool-Aid, like most of my friends. I grew up on Flavor Aid. And if you don't know what that is, let me tell you, it's the closest thing to water that Kool-Aid can get. Like, you gotta straight up use like 2 packets of the flavor just to taste the flavor. And even then, it still tastes like watered down Kool-Aid. So then you put more sugar, and it kind of gets like that sour, sweet taste where you've had too much sugar, and this flavor's not exactly there, but it's kinda there. You see what I'm saying? It's not that great. And it always leaves that, like, it's like Hasi in a way, too. Like, you know when you drink too much Hasi, it, like, makes your throat feel, like, way raw? So when you're an adult, you're like, fuck that shit. When you're a kid, you're like, yeah, I'll drink it till my throat's raw. When you're an adult, you remember that raw feeling, you're like, yeah, haha, not today, Hasi. I remember childhood. Okay, see, that's the thing about with a lot of store brand things, though. And here's what I'm getting at, the whole overarching thing I was talking about with Walmart. Walmart's been stepping up the fucking game, let me tell you. Like, when I was a kid, I used to hate it when I'd come home from school and I'd see Walmart brand stuff. I'd always go to my friend's house, any of my friends, and they had, like, name brand stuff. It's like, they had Doritos, they had, you know, any Lay's chips, any Sprots, Cokes. They didn't have the Sam's Choice. They didn't have the store brand. And let me tell you, you know, like, as I'm starting to get older, I'm not a soda guy, so I can't tell you how the sodas taste. That's feel pure discretionary, but let me tell you, Walmart's been stepping up the motherfucking game. Last night, when I got off work, I had to grab a few things, but the thing I really had to do was go to the grocery store. I went to the grocery store to kind of, like, just find something quick to eat that I could just, like, cook after the stream. Nothing too amazing. I love to cook. It's a fun fact about me. Fun truth. I love to cook. I'm not going to say I'm super good at it, but I'm decent, you know. I can make pretty much anything. I know how to look up recipes, and I know how to follow directions. Well, be that as it may, I wanted something quick last night, so I went to Walmart, and I was thinking, I'm just gonna grab, like, a quick DiGiorno pizza, but I started, like, thinking, it's like, I'll always eat, like, quick DiGiorno pizza, or I'll order one from, like, some quick fast food restaurant, and pizza's one of my favorite foods. It involves one of my favorite foods. Not even gonna say it. You can also do all kinds of other things with it. Pizza's amazing. Well, the thing about it is, when I was looking through, I usually go DiGiorno if I go frozen, because to be honest with you, frozen pizza is like a delicate choice to go through. Some are better than others. That's a blunt truth, whether you want to realize it, figure it out, or not. I also like crust on my pizza. It's another thing. I also like, I'm a random to say it, but I like Tombstone pizza as well, but it doesn't have crust. And I'm a crust guy. It's a weird thing to admit, you know, to people. It's like, you know, it's like you walk into a room, somebody admits something, you know. Well, I feel like that's my walk into the room. I gotta admit, you know, I'm a crust guy. You know, I like a good crust on my pizza. So, I usually go DiGiorno. It's got a pretty good one. Well, I started noticing things while I was in the frozen section, frozen food section, that is, at Walmart. You know, like I said, after work, just hungry, looking for something quick, something I don't have to, like, do too much stuff with. Just trying to get out of there, really. Just something quick. So I'm looking around, and I see all these other brands of pizzas. I'm like, you know what? I'll at least look at them. You know, why not? I'm standing here. You know. So I start looking, and I see all these other brands, and I'm like, you know what? Like, there's something, you know, that I really like on pizza that I've noticed not a single one of these have tried to offer. And that's, you know, like a chicken pizza. A pizza with chicken on it. Which, it's not that common, no. But, you know, there's barbecue chicken. You know, whatever. All kinds of different styles of chicken on pizza. And, you know, I was just, like, really thinking about that. And, as I was really starting to, like, get on the, like, I'm a guy, like, that really likes all the things on pizza that you can put on there. So I was, like, really on the beneficial factor of just, like, do I want, like, a supreme pizza because I like everything? Or do I want to, you know, just, like, maybe get, like, a DiGiorno, maybe a mushroom and, like, spinach with, like, some Alfredo sauce? It's a good pizza. Anyway, I get to look and I see, like, this gigantic section of Walmart brand pizzas. I'm like, whoa. Why is this so, like, substantially bigger? Like, this is, like, next level substantial bigger. Like, this isn't just, like, a little bit bigger. It's, like, way fucking bigger. And then I look down and I see one of them, and this is chicken bacon ranch. I'm like, what the fuck? And I bought it. And I cooked it last night. And it was amazing. And let me tell you, Walmart brand's been stepping up the game on other store brands. I'm telling you, other store brands, you need to, like, watch out. Like, Walmart's coming at you like gangster style up in here. It's like stepping up the game. It's like they found a new product, and they know people like it and want it, and they're putting it out there. Just saying. That was a long story just to talk about frozen pizza that was pretty good last night, but let me tell you, I had to get the word out there. Mountain Holler. Oh, yeah. Who needs Mountain Dew when there's Mountain Lightning? Oh, yeah. That's actually the Walmart brand. Funny. Never had brand items growing up. Only off-brand. Yep. Definitely how it was. How it feels to chew fob gum. Save money, live better. Why is this rant so relatable? I feel like that's like the essence of life. If you grew up in the 90s, you had probably that conservative, like, parent style or figure that you grew up with. And that's probably something that, you know, it's like, I could literally probably bluntly state milk sandwiches right now, and you would all know what I'm talking about. You'd be like, oh, yeah, anytime it snows. That's a blunt one. I don't really know about that one, but that's how it is in my area. And I really lay it out on the conservative side because, I mean, that's the only people that are out there doing that. Everybody else is like, dude, I'm heartless. I will literally call somebody to bring me food in inclement weather. What? Which is true. Like, that's a thing. But, like, you know, like, old conservative people, that was not a thing at all. Like, it was, oh, no. We heard it's going to snow tomorrow. We're going to go buy all the bread and milk in the store. So, like, all the people who work third shift that's going to try to prepare for it have to just, like, you know, suffer because it's not going to be there. I don't work third shift, but I've seen those feels, know those feels. That's some intense shit. Because when you go get food, you get what you can. That's true. That's true. Again, milk sandwiches is up there. It's one of those things that'll last. People can eat it so much. Was born in the early 90s, so you can understand. Oh yeah. Probably had more knockoff chicken nuggets than anything. I feel like that was the best part about being an adult, like going somewhere and like for once picking out the name brand. Everything's not going to be name brand, obviously, or you're going to get to the register and have that awestruck look on your face when you find out how much it is. Just like, I don't even want to give out a random number. I'll depress myself a little bit. But yeah, just some random number out there, and you're just like, what? There's like 10 things down there. But if you do that off-brand, you know, like, let's just use a number. Let's say it was $100 for 10 things. Everything that you got in your cart was averaging out about like $10 a thing. Let's not even include tax on this. Tax, gosh. Holy shit. But, yeah, let's just look at that basic thing. Everything in your cart, which realistically you could say 200 now, because something I've noticed throughout LoF is we're moving towards increments of 20. Like, it seems like everything starts to. You know, something starts off at like maybe around $5, gets popular, it's 20. And if it stays popular, it's like 60 somehow. And it's globally loved by everybody. But we're going to use 20, and let's say it was 200. Or better yet, let's just keep it simple. Let's go back to the first. We'll use 10 things at $100 that you bought for name brand. Keeping it simple, let's just leave it there. Like, it is insane to think when you do step down and buy some off brands, which a lot of them aren't as good as others. Like I said, you know, like back when I was a kid, I used to honestly, I feel like it's what turned me off of soda. Honestly, was like growing up with friends, always drinking like their brands of soda with all this strong carbonation that would burn my throat because I was so used to drinking off-brand sodas. And it wasn't so bad, you know, like Minato said Mountain Lightning. I would have that as a kid, you know, drink that Mountain Lightning. It was like a Walmart brand. I think, anyway. I could be wrong. That could be some other store brands. Oh, there's some crazy ones out there. Like somebody said Mountain Holler. But, like, that carbonation would just be so weak in those. Because, you know, they didn't get it. They got how to make the product because, like, the other company was, but they didn't do what the other company did. So they had, like, a watered-down version of it, or a nullified version of it, if you will, you know? So, like, you're drinking that, and, like, it's okay, you know? You can handle it. But when you have that name brand, you got that full-effect carbonation you're sipping down. It's like lava going down your throat. You're like, ah! That was me as a kid. Every time I went anywhere. So I eventually just wrote off soda. I was like, no, just give me water, juice. Got alcohol here? But that's not always the case. Like I was saying earlier, with like pizza from Walmart, chicken bacon ranch pizza from Walmart, I'm not gonna lie, you should try it sometime. It's not that bad. Just cook it correctly. Don't cook it wrong. And they're like, Ton, it was bad. And I'll be like, dude, it was still frozen, or you burnt it. Cook it correctly. Follow the directions. Again, there's steps that you take for recipes. They're super easy, especially on frozen stuff. Just keep that in mind. But nah, for real, it is always different. Link to video in Discord to know if you'll watch it, but it's relatable to the conversation. I'll try to watch it after the stream. I won't do it during the stream, but I'll do it after. Pop-Tart selection! Oh, yeah, it's true. Rich cousins, and you remember the pantry was godly. Another one, you know, is a good one, is like macaroni and cheese. Now, my mom can make some amazing homemade macaroni and cheese. My mom is an amazing cook. Not certified in any way, just really, you know, southern comfort food. My mom's gotcha. But I didn't grow up with my mom. Like a lot of you know, I grew up with my grandparents, who are super conservative. So, this is a big thing with me and mac and cheese. Growing up and having my mother's mac and cheese was literally like having spoonfuls of heaven hand-fed to you in your mouth. She didn't hand-feed me, but I like that analogy. Because I feel like that's what cheese heaven is probably. You know, you're probably laying around and there's some spiritual, angelic creature, pixie maybe of some sort. Who knows? Maybe it's a mermaid and you're underwater in space. Shit's crazy. And they're like spoon feeding you like homemade your mother's macaroni and cheese. If it's good, you know, maybe it was your best friend's mom's mac and cheese because maybe she made it better. Who knows? But my mom made good mac and cheese. So I'd be thinking getting this mac and cheese fed to me in cheese heaven. Back to the story though. speaking so passionately about my mom's mac and cheese, my grandparents would never take the time to make mac and cheese. They didn't even really like it themselves. So they bought boxed macaroni and cheese. And when you're a kid, a lot of kids grew up, especially like I said, you know, a lot of us grew up in the 90s, maybe the early 2000s, maybe even the 80s. So we know what Easy Mac is. We know what Kraft macaroni and cheese is. And it's okay. You know, it's definitely one of those things. You're not offended if somebody brings it to the table, but you're not, you know, like super excited either. You're not like, damn, Kraft macaroni and cheese. What? No, it's probably not happening unless you're 7. Like, but not to say it's bad. I like some Kraft macaroni and cheese. I like Easy Mac. It's not my mom's stuff, but my grandparents didn't even buy that. Oh no. My grandparents, what was that name brand? It was like Cheddar Mac? Something like that. It was the most basic macaroni and cheese. Like, it was literally the only time I've ever had macaroni and cheese, which was every time my grandparents wanted to make it. It was like the one time I literally had noodles that stuck together that just kind of tasted like somebody took hints of Parmesan cheese and like that movie theater popcorn cheese. And then they just threw at it from like across the room. And they were like, yeah, I think a little bit of it got on there. They might taste it. They'll smell it at least. I mean, scent's all it is anyway. You know, as long as they don't eat it like this, they'll probably taste it. Makes sense. Let's sell it. We'll sell it for like 10 cents a box. 10 cents a box sounds like a steal. Like, you're probably thinking, no wonder your grandparents bought it, Ton. It was 10 cents a box. Think of how much they bought. Exactly. Think of how much they bought, being conservative, 10 cents a box, how long it lasted, and how many years I had to eat this macaroni and cheese that tasted like boiled noodles that somebody dusted with cheats from a distance. Like, literally, it was probably macaroni and cheese that somebody ate. Like, somebody probably ate Kraft macaroni and cheese and then, like, brought into a room full of boiled noodles, and then they're told to burp on these noodles. Then they let them dehydrate, and they, like, took the essence of that dehydrated burp and shook it off of the dehydrated noodles and put it in a flavor packet, and then literally put those noodles and that flavor packet of that distilled burp, which has now been granulated into, like, a cheese form-ish, and then put into a box, and that's what you were buying for 10 cents a box and feeding to your grandson for like 12 to 14 years. You know, you see what I'm saying? But there's some name brands that aren't so bad, but I'll lay off for a second. Homemade is way better. Best shit ever. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Homemade is way better. Especially if it's done correctly. Like, I can say, it took me a few years to be able to make homemade macaroni and cheese. Like, yeah, I was just joking around about, like, following directions and recipes and stuff. But let me tell you, I can make some decent macaroni and cheese, but the first time I did it, it was a fucking nightmare. It was a fucking nightmare. I was not paying attention, I was not following directions, and I was not following the recipe, and I thought I would improvise by adding more cheese. Okay, it's not an art to cook cheese, but there are some fundamental things you've really got to take the stepping stones along the way to do right before you do it. I thought you could skip them. Well, you can't, and I learned that. I figured every bit of that out through, failure. No doubt. Oreos called circles? I don't know. I did actually grow up in a cool time of life growing up in the 90s where we had Dunkaroos. Did anybody have those growing up? Like, why can't we have a comeback of the Dunkaroos? Holy shit. I love that you said that. I had a lot of off-brand Oreos, but let me tell you, they were just off-brand Oreos that my grandparents were finding probably on some, like, black market, flea market trip or something that they took along the way, or maybe some wholesale pros where they found some, like, off-brand Oreos that were made in Saudi Arabia, and they're selling them for, like, a whole crate for, like, $5, and my grandparents like, yep, Mikey'll like that shit. I never liked it. I only ate it because, well, I wanted the things the other kids had, and yeah, I dealt with what I could. I actually grew up, you know, saying growing up with my grandparents, I grew up actually super old school. Not only eating a bunch of off-brand stuff, but we actually had a garden as well. That was kind of a different weird period of my life, especially being forced to work on it every day of my life, every summer, along with my uncle's hayfields. Fun times. But, I mean, that's growing up conservative, though. You know, children are just slaves, and you can just, like, you know, rent them out to people. That's terrible, but it's true. 72. Had alt off-brand crackers and cheese. I had some of that too. Like a lot of my friends grew up with those like Ritz snack thingies where it was like you had the little sticks with the cheese up here. I grew up with that too, but I'm not gonna lie, I could never tell you the name. It was probably just called Cheese and Sticks, with like store brand logo over the top. Sometimes, you know, it's not all bad though. Like, I gotta say, I've got a pretty good head on my shoulders sometimes when, like, thinking about, like, humanity. I think, anyway. Sometimes I'm a little dark the way I, like, see things in life. I'm not gonna lie. But, you know, I can say that. Like, most definitely, it did humble me growing up like that. Very conservative. Mostly forced conservative. I mean, you don't really have a choice growing up. Obviously, being a kid, you want everything that you see in life that looks exciting. Even it's part of human anatomy, unfortunately. It's like a part of the human condition, unfortunately. But be that as it may, it definitely humbles you after life, too. Like, you know, I definitely have, you know, all those friends I was telling you that I grew up with. They always had all these name brands and stuff. We literally have different outlooks on life. Most of them have children and are continuing the conservative life where I believe, it is the wrong move for me to have any children at this moment. I don't even know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't even want to have to fucking stop and think about what a kid's doing right now. Which is a weird thing in life too. Like, I feel like most of us were either in the coming of age that watch my streams, like, you were either starting to come of age, or you're having a bigger realization on life, and you're starting to realize things, or you're already realizing the things and going through it, or you just went through it. Like, those are the three stages of people who usually watch my streams. It's not really little kids, and it's not old people. It's literally that, like, late teen to, like, early 30s, even stretching out into the late 30s, really. Like, late 30s to, like, late teen period, where, like, you're fundamentally really just trying to figure life out. Like, those are the people who usually watch my stream, so I feel like that's a cool thing that we can usually, like, stop and relate with a lot of things. But I do feel like that is one thing that most of us can say that did really grow up through these eras. You know, it's just like, you know, it's basically from, like, the end of an era to the beginning of the millennial era, all the way to the end of the millennial era. It's like, we grew up with a more of a humbled outlook on life. Sometimes a little bit more dark and auspicious, but really slightly more humbled as well, you know? It's my belief, anyway. I could definitely be wrong in saying that. But, I do feel like, you know, I'm very much more humbled, growing up that way. See, I've a lot of, family members, like, see, growing up on my mother's side and my dad's side, it was like night and day. A lot of culture was on my dad's side. My dad, let's just give you some culture here. Everybody on my dad's side was full culture because, leave it at this, my dad's father was born and raised in Hawaii. His father before him, Hawaii. My dad's mother was born and raised in Mexico. And her mother before her and her mother before her, I'm guessing forefathers as well. So, you've already got that. On my mother's side, it was Irish and Cherokee. So, you had settlers that were already here in North America before pre-settled dates. And then Irish immigrants coming in. So, I have, like, all this culture meeting to create me. I'm full of culture, but being and saying this, you wouldn't think it, but my dad's side was a little bit more, let's say, well-off than my mother's side. So anytime I visited people on my dad's side, I would see those name brands and the things I was talking about. When everything on my mother's side, unfortunately, was the more conservative side, where people were more or less trying to save as much as they could just in case something traumatic happened, while really trying to just, like, get through dealing with what you had and what you could get rather than what was available. So, I've also just had all this, like, kind of, like, jumbled up throughout my life, so my perspective's definitely warped, but throughout all of it, I can definitely say it has humbled me. A very good way. A very good way. Like, my outlook on life is very realistic, but at the exact same time, I know when to have a good time, you know? 21, still have no idea what life is. See, Minato, that is, like Steven said, 21 was a weird year for me. Because let me tell you, there was two things that happened. I was already drinking alcohol, so I could buy it. So that it wasn't that big of a deal for me. I had friends that could already get it for me. My brother was already older, he could get it for me. So that wasn't a big deal. I had no bills at 21 really either. I did, but I didn't. I'd already moved out. I moved out of my grandparents' house when I was 17. I was faced with a little, you know, hardships here and there. Moved out when I was 17, but by the time I was 21, the only real bills that I had was an internet bill, insurance, a phone bill, and rent. 4 things. Not that bad. Being an adult now, I can tell you I've got, I don't even know how many bills. Like, I would honestly feel depressed probably if I sat and told you how many bills I have now. And like, I'm 25 now. I'll be 26 this August. And let me tell you, from 21 to 26, that's the real life period. This is, you're in this period where I say enjoy it because you're still in the grace period of it. But by the time you hit 25, and I dare say how you'll feel at 26, your perspective is about to 180, 360, all the way down to a 540. I'm waiting for my 720 to hit, but it's just not there yet. And I don't mean that in like a depressing way either. Like, that sounds like somebody like could be hearing that from like somebody 25 at 20. Like, whoa, dude, you've had life happen. And let me tell you, I have, but I don't mean it from a bad way. You like, see, that's the cool thing about life. When bad shit happens when you're a kid, it's devastating. When bad shit happens when you're adult, it sucks. But you figure out how to get out of it. Like, that's the cool thing about being human. We have something that a lot of creatures don't have. We have the ability to solve problems. So, that is a cool thing, is being an adult. You know, when you're a kid, you've got problem-solving abilities. You can put the circle in the circle, you can put the square in the square, and you'll realize pretty fucking quick the star won't go in the triangle. So you'll put the star in the star, find the triangle, and put that in that slot. That's being a child, you know? Maybe you'll have a random thing that your evil brother made out of Play-Doh that doesn't portray to anything on the object where shapes go into the diameter, and you're sitting there thinking, what the fuck, where does that go? So you cry. That's being a child. As an adult, you want to cry, but you're like, you know what, if I cry, nothing's gonna get fixed, so I gotta figure out how to do this myself. So, you figure out how to do it yourself, and let me tell you, being an adult, like an actual adult, after paying your bills, doing the end of the day thing, I'm gonna die if I go that way. They realized that real fucking quick too. Being at the end of the day an adult with those problem-solving abilities, you know, the lack thereof of that of being a child in adolescence, when you actually bring in adulthood for what it actually is, it is such an amazing thing, and it really is. And, you're gonna have some hardships. But through those hardships, you're going to learn the best things out of all of those. Sometimes it's going to be saving money, being a little bit more conservative where you don't really want to be. And I'm not trying to tell you real life here. Do not take life advice from Ton. Believe me, hashtag do not take life advice from Ton. Not a role model here, but I'm just telling you through life, you know, you'll figure it all out. You know, don't panic. And when it feels like you are going to panic, just take a deep breath. And let me tell you again, you know, I've already said it once and I'll say it again, there's no better feeling than being an adult and being in a situation that you didn't think you'd get out of and then getting out of it yourself. It's an amazing feeling, it really is. I know you're going to be here for a while, but leaving out on that statement, good luck adulting. Just don't take it too personally. It's kind of like what I was saying with dark comedy. Being an adult is dark comedy. And like, blunt form. That is being an adult, especially in 2019, because we're all just trying to figure out what we're doing. See, like, that's something I love to talk to my mom about. I was talking about this a few years ago. It's like, when I was a kid, I thought adults figured it all out. Like, that was my perspective. When you're a kid, and you see an adult fuck up, you don't even know it happens. You're just like, oh, they're just doing something. Okay, when you see a kid fuck up when you're a child or an adolescent, you instantly tell an adult. You're like, oh, this isn't right. Oh, man. Johnny, be good. Tommy, don't leave the crib. Don't bring Chucky, Phil, Lil, and Angelica with you. Oh, man, Tommy, you're fucking up. Shit's gonna happen. Like, you know, that's your thing when you're a kid. You're like, I need to tell an adult. They'll fix this problem. Well, when you become an adult, like, you really realize there's some adults here that don't want this problem fixed. Adults probably caused this problem. Like, their perspective on life is all not what mine is at all. Like, this is all weird. And there's some shithead adults. That's another thing. Like, you think all adults are, like, fucking amazing god people when you're a kid. When you become an adult, you're like, oh, well, this guy's a complete bag of shit. Like, that happens. And you really start to realize that in your 20s, I feel like. Especially the early 20s. That's the part where you feel like all adults are here together. We're going to figure it all out. No, not true. Especially if you're like me, you're on a conquest for the truth of life. Adults hate me, let me tell you. Because most adults have this weird, unfathomable picture of life painted inside their head they feel like is rot. And when you come at them with perspectives of reality that don't make sense, they're not okay with it. Especially if they got kids and stuff. Which is another reason why I don't think I even need children right now, like with my perspective on life. Children in my life, oh man, they'd grow up so unhealthy. They would question their own reality. They'd go to school, and the teacher would be like, what's 5 times 5? And my child would look at that teacher, and they'd be like, am I real? Is this a simulation? Are you a simulation? How can I hack your coding? How fragile is your coding? How long have you been aware? Like, oh man. Like, if I had children right now, their conscious mind as adults would be so unhealthy. I feel like they would be like, they would look at the human life and it would be wrong. They'd be like, oh no, we gotta fix this. Real talk with Todd. Oh yeah, the real. But no, like, overarching, one thing I will say about being your age as well at 21, don't turn down too many good times, but don't get carried away with a good time either. See, that is the way I would say I was at 21. I got carried away with a few good times. I mean, nothing bad happened, obviously. Worst things that happened to me happened when I was a teenager. So, as an adult, I can't really say anything too bad has happened, you know, knock on wood back here. But, like, there's some things I tried to get a little bit more serious with that I really didn't, like, more so I feel like I didn't take advantage of a lot of fun that I should have had. But in other times, I took too much fun and too much for granted with what I had as well. So, take that with what you will as well, also. And we'll leave it out on that one. So, Minato, how long you been 21? You turning 21 soon? Or, not 21 soon, shit, you're 21 now. You turning 22 soon? Or is it like, are you a fresh 21? Isn't morality another, like, weird thing? Like, what you think is morally right is, like, you could literally look at somebody dead in the eye and tell them your daily morals, the things you think are correct for a human being to do that makes a good person a person. And then they could literally look at you directly, and I'm not using the offended factor again, I'm moving on from that, like, but they could look at you directly with a whole different opinion on what they think is right. Like, how crazy is that, like, really? And again, not looking at the offended factor again here. Not trying to, like, bring that back up. But, like, looking just at, like, perspective and, like, human morality. How it can be so different with such a fragile look of life. Like, religious people compared to, like, me. You know? I offended my brother today. I know I did. Like, hands down, I know I offended my brother today. He hit me with, like, real bobble oh, God, I gotta do it. Real bobble shit. Like, again, the way I grew up was with my grandparents. Extremely, extremely conservative, but not also just conservative. Also very extremely Southern Baptist. That means they yelled at me when I went to church. Like, they yelled at me a lot. A lot. Like, not a little bit, but a lot. A lot of yelling. A lot of brainwashing. I'm not even gonna dilute it. It was pretty messed up shit. Well, anyway, my brother was a little bit more, well, he sold into it, whereas I didn't. I never have. I just never would bend, I guess you could say, or break, if you will. And my brother, I don't want to say did, but he did. And he was telling me today, I was talking to him about some real science shit, and when I really get on real science shit with my family, they just stop listening to me, because they don't want to hear it. Classic Southern Baptist, you know, science. That's how it goes. You're like, I believe in something, your science is just, nope. Well, that's the thing. Me and my brother were talking about the end of the world, and I'm not saying I know how the world ends. I'm probably like 85% sure I know how it's gonna end. But my brother was talking some Bible scripture with me. I'm gonna use the word scripture. I feel like it's necessary, only because I want to say it. And it was really grinding my gears. Like, I don't know. I felt like I could just go read him like the book of King Arthur and just be like, you know, this happened. Or go read him some Shakespeare, you know, like Romeo and Juliet. This is historical. But I can't, you know, I can't do that. I love my brother. He's one of my best friends. So I usually shut up and just let him win the conversation. Win. There's no end. I'll be back. But it does kill me though when science gets debunked for religion. Oh man. Especially when there's scientific evidence. It kills me. But that's a big thing with, you know, being me as myself and growing up with my family. But that is also the scary thing with morality as well. A lot really of religious benefactors when it comes to morality gets bent for religion. You know, it's like they will say, don't hate on your fellow man, don't do this or don't do that, don't steal. But then, you know, like, it's like if they're this or that, or they do this, they're complete shitbags. So, see, that is me. I love, like, a lot of you know I like to drink, obviously. A lot of my family, I can't even look in the eyes, only because they won't look back at me in the eyes, because I drink, because they instantly think, oh, he's going to hell. Oh, that's inviting. Wow, Merry Christmas. But that's a reality that I live in my life, you know, growing up in, like, that generation of people, prosperity, the area that I grow in, and also morality and judgment upon how people see morals as they go. But, I don't know, I feel like that was a good example, because it really is crazy where some people draw the line on morality. 22 in May sounds awesome in auto. So you've got the 21 experience. I'm sure you've done pretty much everything a 21-year-old can do by this point. Probably publicly bought alcohol, maybe went to a club. Or at least I hope so. If you haven't, please do these things. You need to. Live life. Don't live life on the what if. I see this happen in the area where I grew up, or I don't want to say the area I grew up. The area where I've lived in and grown up for the most part of my life is, that's a big thing. I am huge on experiencing life. I'm one of those people. I will try any food once. I will go on any ride once. I will talk to anybody that wants to talk. I will try anything and everything literally once. It's just like my way of living. You know, you got to experience it to judge it. Well, in the area where I've grown up in, it's the exact opposite, you know? People are afraid of what they're going to think of you. The morality comes into play. Religion comes into play. Shit, we lost and we were doing so good. I was hoping we'd have the comeback. We didn't. But, damn, what's that for? I wonder. But, yeah. Morals is a weird thing. The scary thing about moral stuff is morals can be easily manipulated. That's very true. The world ended in 2012. This is all a game now. That's actually a real theory. Me and Rez talked about that for a little while. Like, there's an actual theory out there that the world ended in 2012 and we're all... And, like, there's two theories with it, really. Probably 3 or 4 or a million, but there's two very prominent theories with the 2012 theory that we all did actually die in 2012, and this is either hell or purgatory and we're riding it out, or it did end and we're still riding the wave out, much like the Big Bang. Who's to say? It's reality, though. We're living it. That's the real truth of the situation. No matter what the current consequence may be, reality is reality, and we are living it. That's the way I live, like, and probably usually try to think of it every single day, while trying my best not to take too much advantage of, but just as much advantage of as I possibly can at the exact same time. I love to experience it all. That's a lot for me. Like, experiencing as much out of life, I feel like is the real reason to be alive. Like, people tell you, the real reason humans are here, just like animals, we're here to live, reproduce, and die. I don't believe that at all. I believe that humans are here to exist and figure out as much as we can, live, prosper, maybe reproduce, and, you know, just try to figure out as much as you can, just like anybody else, before it's all over. Why so many people think science and religion can't coexist? I actually do. And that's my thing. Not religion, because I'm not a spiritual guy. A lot of you know, I've got my reasons. I'm not going to go too hard in on it here. It's not the time or the place. Probably never will be, unfortunately. But as far as, like, being very spiritual, I'm not. But I'm a man of science, and I'm a man of history, and I'm a man of math. So if that's something I love to look at with religion. If it's, like, crazy morality, religion-based story that somebody derived out of the blue and just like David versus Goliath, maybe it was real. Maybe it was real. I hate to use that example, but I'm going to use it. But that is a morality story. That is a little guy versus the big guy. The maybe 5-foot guy versus the maybe 10-foot guy. Who knows how tall he was or how big he was, but David versus Goliath. It's a morality story. Did it happen? Probably not. Let's be real. Much like, the dude with the long hair in the temple. I can't think of his name right now. But another morality story. Or the women with the 2 babies, so the pharaoh cut it in half and gave it to both of them. Which really didn't happen. The whole morality of it was the pharaoh couldn't figure out the real mother, so he said, I'll cut the baby in half and give you both each half. And the mother that said, no, let the other mother have it, I don't want my child to die, was obviously the real mother. Did this story happen? Probably not. Nobody's going to cut a baby in half and say the real mom's going to get the real baby. No! No, it's a morality story. It's morality. That's all that is. It's an example, and they didn't know how to perceive it into words, so they used the best example of the time, the description, the imagery that they could put into your head to use for that example to create the morality to implement into your brain for that religion. That is what that is. That's mathematics in its finest, along with science. Human science and mathematics. Be that as it may, there's a lot of things that were technically true. You know, there's loads of noted events in the Bible, in the Quran, in, you know, many other historical books based on religion, along with religious books with more historical events that actually happened embedded into them, that I do believe. The things that have been passed down through history, you got me there. That it probably happened, you know? Maybe some crazy stuff happened. Most likely it was science, but they didn't know how to explain it back then, so they used magic or spirituality. Another thing with not being so spiritual to me is, like, the blunt fact that I feel like a lot of people didn't like the blunt truth about death. I feel like that's a big thing for religion too. A lot of people don't like to think that you just went in a hole in the ground, or maybe you just got set on fire, or maybe you just got launched into space and they don't know what else to do with you, and that could be our future. Space launching corpses. What a time to be alive. Anyway, who knows? Who knows? But the morality of it, though, a lot of people don't like that morbid ending to the life that you just spent possibly 55 to 100 years. The average death rate. 55 to 100, somewhere in there. Like, nobody likes to think that you spent your time on Earth and it's just over. You know? Or maybe they don't want to look at all the time and the memories that they had with you and it's just over. They want some descriptive imagery of your life being passed on in something else. So we have reincarnation. Maybe if you're a shitbag, you'll be a better person in this life, so you're not a shitbag in the next life. Or, you know, a cockroach on, like, poop or something. Who knows? And, like, you know, we have all these different descriptions. But what really kills me is, like, I love the historical events that happen with them because they're, again, it's, like, historically dated proof. Which, it's still proof hearsay, but I'll give it to you. It's usually historically accurate, or, god damn, I hate that I said that. Accurate. I've been on a day. Believe me, my brain's broken. But, yeah. It's so accurate that, you know, historically, you know, maybe it's in a lot of stories. Like, Noah's Ark is a big one for me. I've told you all, I feel like that's a theory. It's a turn of phrase lost in time. But, fun fact about that story that I feel like is a turn of phrase lost in time, it is one of the most used stories in most of the religions. It has its own versions, but Noah's Ark is pretty much in all of them. About a cataclysm on Earth, and one guy was told by some beneficial factor to get the fuck out of it. Maybe it was his conscience, maybe it was an upper hand, we don't know. That's me. Again, I'm agnostic. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm telling you, it's hard for you to, if you're gonna try to, like, use religion on me without scientific evidence or historical proof, I'm gonna laugh at you. But you come at me with something like that, Noah's Ark is the one I love to use the most, because, again, it's everywhere. It's in all the religions, just about, like, and it goes way the fuck back, so we don't know if it happened or if it did happen. Is it believable? No, it's not. Is it possible? Probably not either. Does it really get stated a lot and actually used a lot in almost all religion? Yeah, that's actually one thing you can get me at that I could never debunk you from. The fact that it is so widely believed and used in so many other different religions that it could have happened. Which is an amazing thing to happen, but it's crazy as well. Especially for a man of science. But that is the reality of it all. That's why I like to be agnostic, because the reality of it all is none of us really know. Like, the last knowledge of really that significant thing that we had burned away in the Library of Alexandria, and we'll never know what happened. Thank you, Julius Caesar, for that, by the way. God damn it. But, you know, just saying. And thank you for listening, Azunami, but my brain is a broken place. This is a place that only the very mentally stable should dwell, so be that as it may, tread carefully. Like, my outlook on life is a very good, morally standard, stable place. I will say good day to you, I will look you in the eyes and smile, I will hold the door open for you. Hell, if you're an older person, you say, hey, young man, it's cold outside, will you pump my gas for me? I'd probably do it too, even if it was raining. Somebody can't afford something behind the register. If I literally know that I can pay for it and comfortably live after, they can go on living, I can go on living, and neither one of us have to think about it ever again, I will gladly pay for that person's, like, Tevler, like, the rest of their stuff. I'll be like, you know what, I got this, you know, it's okay. I get it. Life happens. If they get pissed, I'm like, okay, fuck you. There's the door. Get your shit out. I gotta go too. I'm tired of waiting. That's the reason I was going to pay in the first place. There's my morality line. Like, see, that's a weird thing with morality. You gotta draw. Like me, I'm really nice guy. If you come at me being offended because I'm nice, because you think I'm overly nice, that's my morality line. That's where I step off and I get offended, you know? So, it's weird. So, like, that's why I say religion is kind of a weird thing with where they draw their morality line, because it's all over the place, really. Like, their Messiah was out here getting drunk, baking whores. Like, that happened in the Quran, it happened in the Bible, I'm sure it happened in some form of Judaism in their book too. You know, they even bluntly say it in the Bible, you know, he's out here banging whores and getting drunk, going to parties. When you do it in real life, you're a sinner. What? But again, this is actually a morality thing. That is Southern Baptist. It's different in Catholic. In Catholicism, oh, it's completely different. It's the same story, but the outlooks and the morality way different. Which, it's just a funny thing to me, really. I guess that's part of being an adult, where you draw your own imaginary line or morality. Sorry, I know they got really, really real, but like I love subjects like that where you can really hash it out, and they have so many branches that you can hash it out and make examples out of like that. It is an amazing thing to me. Like, one thing that a lot of you obviously aren't new to is that I'm very, very good when it comes to, well, honestly, the best way to put it is, literature. Not literature as in stories being told, but the grammar being spoke. See, I was always, that was always my thing in school. Obviously, I love Final Fantasy, so I love a good story. So literature was always my go-to. So English was always my major. You can't make up laugh with English unless you want to be an English teacher. And believe me, all my English teachers were the most morbid, boring people of my life. My last English teacher I actually had was an advanced placement English teacher who was English grammar and like English bio. Wait, English grammar, English bio, English AP, and English... No, literature AP as well. He had the credits to be a college professor. Like, is a very, very intellectual man, but you could tell he couldn't even talk to fucking people and feel fucking normal. He couldn't even talk to me. And every day I used to like to fucking... I'm a creative mind. A very creative mind. So, let me tell you a brief story about me and this, I want to call him a professor because that's what he is now, but he wasn't when he was my high school teacher. The dude had the credits in life to be a professor. You could tell it bothered him that he was teaching high school, especially fucking high school to somebody like me. I am great with grammar. I'm great with literature. I'm great with English. It's just my forte. I've always got it. I love it. There's math and science as well. It's underlying. You don't get it. I'm not going to explain it right now, but it's there. Believe me. Well, I've got that pretty much always, ever. Growing up to be a man of culture, you know, of different, like, cultural bases, you kind of figured out quick and life. Everybody in my family talks different, from, like, complete straight redneck gibberish to, Hispanic murmurs, to be honest with you. So, I'm all over the place with my morality on, like, what I can tolerate with, like, literature. So, going into something like that, I literally already have a perspective most people don't have, especially growing up into an area like I've got. So, I'm listening to a lot of this dude's lectures, and they're just not clicking in my brain. I'm like, dude, like, you're literally telling me what I grew up dealing with right now, and you're trying to teach this to me because you heard it in school. Like, you're teaching me a real-life experience that I've lived that was simulated to you, and I'm just not correlating with that. And he got that. You could tell the guy got that. But at the exact same time, you could tell he was not about it. So I've also had a very great imagination. I've talked about it multiple times. I'm an adult with an overactive imagination. I'm not afraid to admit it. Definitely have an overactive imagination to be an adult. Well, be that as it may, being in this man's class, way too smart to be where he is, has loads of free time. Both of us do, because I already get what he's talking about. I go to my artistic side. I go to my brain. The dark side, I know I'm not supposed to fucking go to, especially in a fucking time where I'm in a public area. Well, I go there. For a fucking week! A whole week! He wouldn't even let anybody sit on my desk. For a whole week, I looked at this guy as he was talking to us. He tells the greatest story, because his bravado, the way he could carry his voice was so amazing to me as well. It was actually a little bit of an inspiration to want to do stuff like this YouTube channel in a way, because everybody in our town called him the Rev, because he was so intellectual with literature and English that he could give the greatest speeches. So every time we had a football game, be that as it may, my town has the worst football game team of all time. Like, every fucking year, we lose everything. Like, we never win. It is bad, but no doubt, they'd send the old Rev up there. Dr. Witherow was his name, by the way. Gotta give the guy a shout out after talking about him so much. This guy would hop up a whole town thinking we'd win. We were not going to win. I promise you. Everybody, it's a small town. What happens in small towns? Especially before game night. Everybody's partying. The dads, the kids, the parents, everybody here's partying. They're all partying. They're all getting, like, super duper drunk. Like, not a little bit drunk. They're not, I'm getting a little tipsy. Tomorrow's Friday. Who cares? It's the end of the week. Oh, no. They're getting super duper drunk. They're like, I'm gonna feel this hangover on Sunday. Fuck it. Like, they're getting super duper drunk around here. Again, you know, even our cops are probably getting that wasted. It's a small town. Like, I'm pretty sure there's like less than 12,000 people that live here. Actually, I'm 100% confident within saying that. Like, I think our schools are made to withstand like 7,000 children. And that's just high school. No, it's 5,000 actually. It's 5,000, and that's just high school. 7,000 is the elementary school. Well, anyway, be that as it may, getting back on subject here. I don't know. It's just weird that, you know, like, let's say game night, they're all getting wasted. And then you got this guy coming out of nowhere telling everybody they're going to win. They're, like, speaking so grammatically correct with the right of, bravado, just, like, bringing it in, carrying his voice to the crowd. Just using the best smart words and the best dumb words at the same time. Like, the best smart words so they, you know, they feel like they're about to, like, do something. They're going to war and they're going to win it. But at the same time, it's just, like, nullified enough down so it's like, you know, they just watch the war on TV. They're not there, but they feel like they are. Kind of like that thing. And the guy was just, like, so fucking good at it. But let's go back to what he actually let me do. This was the thing about this teacher. He was fucking morbidly evil, by the way. Every single day for a whole week, getting back to the story, he didn't let anybody sit at my desk. Not a single person. And again, I barely listened to the guy, what he would say. He'd tell me all this shit about class, how I didn't pay attention, fill me full of fucking doubt, throw a test in front of me, and I would pass. I'd be like, dude, you know, I listened to enough. You know, I listened to enough. Pass your test. I'm not going to read these crazy stories from literature past that I don't care about. That's legit. I was actually that kid in school. Always pass a test, never studied, never read a book. Unless I was just literally forced to. Well, getting back on subject to this, for a whole fucking week, this guy wouldn't let a single person sit in my desk. And I'm a pretty artistic person. I'm no Michelangelo. I'm no Leonardo da Vinci. But I'm a pretty decent artist. I can, you know, sketch things. Well, anyway, for a whole week, this guy did not let a single person sit in my desk. Because this week, randomly, he was talking about the Chronicles of Mark Twain and Huckleberry Finn. And also Tom Sawyer. Literally something I went over, read, and did research on when I was in 5th fucking grade. And he's talking to me about this in my senior year of advanced placement fucking literature in English. Okay, if you're a guy like me and you just like heard what I just said, you're instantly already like, you're rubbing your eyebrows, probably like smacking your head a little bit like, what the fuck? Or maybe you're out there and you're an intellectual and you're like, poor fucking guy. Yeah. This is like AP shit and I'm learning about shit that I did full-on research in 5th fucking grade. Okay? Well, here's what happened. A week went down. He talked about this. And again, didn't let a single person sit in my seat. What I actually did was I sat down and I was like, I looked at this guy. And the week before this, I already did a sketch of the guy on my desk. Just really quick, I was bored, kind of talking a quick brief about, like, Mark Twain and shit. So, I was already bored, so I did a quick sketch of the guy on my desk. Very quick. Literally probably took me, like, I don't know, 2 days. You know, pretty quick. Somebody messed with it the first time around. My guess is why he didn't let anybody mess with my artwork or sit at my desk the second time around. But definitely got messed with the first time around. My little sketch of him on my desk. Well, this is what happened in the week stretch of him not letting anybody sit in my desk. I decided to do zombie version Dr. Withrow. I was like, okay, well, I did one full version of the guy. I got nothing going on. He's teaching about shit I learned about. Like, I taught myself in 5th fucking grade. Like, why not? Okay, zombie Withrow, here we go. Chronicles last a fucking week of me drawing this man in zombie figure form. And I do it down to the T. Like, it looks fucking phenomenal. They have everybody come look at it. This guy walks up to the side of my desk, and you know what? He locks me in the eyes. He makes, like, pure eye lock. Setting down Lysol and a rag on my desk after I finish drawing this. Like, the day I finish, I even do a good saw because I'm so satisfied. I'd worked on this for a full week, Nobody sat in this desk, nobody erased spots, nothing I had to tweak with, nothing I had to work with. Every day that I left, it was just how I left it. So I get back to this, work on it, do the last finishing lines of Zombie Withero. Just, little curve around the nose, a little wrinkle, just a little slight shade to make some of the flesh look more zombified. So it's definitely zombie, not just weird, not drawn correctly person. And he looks me dead in the eyes and says, Michael, you're a waste of time. One week. One art piece. Honestly, the guy's kind of my idol still to this day in a way, just because the way his outlook on life has like taught me to look at life. But that sentence right there, deadlocking me in the eyes, calling me a waste of time because I spent a whole week in his class not doing his classwork, but instead drawing a zombie form of him that he later made me erase, along with cleaning every single desk in his class. And looking me in the eyes and just calling me a waste of time. Let me tell you, if real life doesn't come at you any more hardcore than that, I don't know how it ever could. But I feel like that pretty much shaped my morality on life right there. Was just like that single moment. Along with, you know, a lot of fucked up life moments that you really have no inevitable, like, ability to do anything about also. You know, life in general's life. You know, it is what it is. But you have moments like that in life where you just look at it and you're just like, what the fuck just happened? You were good with history for some reason. I'm hit and miss with history. I love history if it's something that I feel is, well, relevant. There's just some things in history I feel like so irrelevant that they want us to know, you know? Which is, I guess, the seriousness of it all, and also the blunt reality, also. But, you know, here's another blunt reality of the truth of all that thing with my teacher. I've never really, as much as I do love art, it's not really been as big as a passion as you would think it would have been for somebody to have said I was a waste of time. To have called it a waste of time. That's one of the things I think that really bother me. I do love art, but it's not like my truest passion out of life. As much as I do love it, I could tell you so many things I love more than art, you know? One is science. I'm a man of science. I love to see that amongst anything. Love science. That's why I love computer science amongst anything is, like, well, more so more recently, as of date. Just so many things can be explained through computers and simulations. And mathematic, you know, equations that they can further figure out even further than we can. You know, we look at it from like the realistic standpoint of what we see perceivable. They look at it from what is really there. And it's just an amazing thing. And you know, again, you know, with thinking about that, drawing back to morality and religion, and where people draw religion and morality line, it plays into that, believe it or not. Like, that is a thing that I think is so sad. And I hate that it took such a long arch of me explaining things to get to this point. But if you don't explain it correctly, people don't look at it correctly. And they literally hit the offended line. Like, very, very fucking quickly. It goes from being like, you just bash religion. You just bashed, like, so many things, like, all at once. And there was not a single thing bashed. If you go back and look at this video, I can tell you how I feel about certain advantages and certain disadvantages of life. I can tell you about my outlook on life, my outlook on morality, but I didn't say anything offensive. Be that as it may, and getting back into everything I was getting at, like, it's crazy, after everything that I just stated, that eventually that somebody just like the teacher that I had could look at all of that just because they feel like it's irrelevant. Like, back when I was in high school, I thought art was going to be my life. Now that I'm an adult, I know that it's not, and I really want to do something more with explaining life, computer science, and probably maybe geology later on in my life as well. It kind of just, like, fuels, like, things that I'm more interested in, you know, like not drawing too much morality on life and getting offended by anything with what I might learn along the way. Where I feel like that is the disadvantage of a lot of things when it comes to, I guess, morality and, you know, trying to, like, be an adult along the way. Most things are a waste of time. That is a big thing with, like, trying to learn through education that I get at. See, a lot of people, don't know, like, why, like, I'm very pick and choosy with what I really try to, like, lay my intelligence in, or really try to, like, gain knowledge through. And then it's because of that very basic thing that you said there, Rez. Like, somebody asked me why I didn't go to a certain college before, like, the local college I have around here, because, and literally, I can bluntly state, they would literally teach me at least 2+ years of irrelevant things that I either already know about, or I'll have to sit through just to get on paper or in computer credibility to know about, that I could have already knew about beforehand, and then it would just been a giant waste of time. Much like my teacher in high school trying to teach me about Huckleberry Finn, Mark Twain, and Tom Sawyer, when I literally did all of this work and research in the 5th fucking grade. Believe me, that was a giant rant, and I know. And it took multiple branches, but it had that overarching period where everything started to make so much sense. Sorry, and I'm glad that a lot of you sat through that, but that's a morality thing, and that is the truth that we live in becoming adults, and the decision-making process of the things we have to accept along the way of being an adult, and the things that we're willing to say to the younger peers for trying to be adults and doing their own life and living it along the way. Brain bomb, I know, but believe me, it blows my brain up as well. This is going to be my last game of Hidden Gorge. After this, I'm going to start doing a little bit of Seiryu troubles and fundamental, who knows, Seiryu stuff. Shenanigans. I'm going to take another quick restroom break. I'm going to grab a drink, and I'll be right back. Would love to hear what y'all got to say and what you think when I get back as well. I know there's a big rant, but loads of points hit along the way. I'll be right back. Okay, what a knot, right? Here's your outlook. You spend a bit bashing your religion, and I'm like, meh, I'm gonna still watch the stream. See, look, I don't want to say I bash your religion. Like, Christianity, let's say is more predominant, here in the US anyway, Muslim mostly amongst the world. And I'm not saying I bash anybody's religion, and I'm sorry, like, if anybody ever gets offended the way I feel. Like, I really don't. Like, I'm not gonna take it seriously, I'll give you that. So, but don't take it as me bashing it. It's just, I like, okay. Like, I feel like this story has to be told. Like, to understand fundamentally how I feel about religion and why I feel about the way religion that I do, it has to be told. Which, it's something I never thought I'd talk about on stream, but I'm about to. Let me recap about what some other things other people have said, and I'll get back to you. And again, this is nothing to bash it. Like, if you believe in religion, literally my whole family does as well. So, I'm the black sheep of my family. Keep believing. Like, honestly, it's a healthy thing to do, to have some sort of belief. It's very mentally stable, very mentally healthy. Keep doing it. You know, it's probably a good thing if you do. Like, I definitely agree with you. Do I believe in it as well? No. I'm going to go ahead and tell you. I'm not even going to give you a probably, but And I love that, and I love your outlook too. Like, to be able to listen to something like that, hear that perspective from somebody else, but still believe in what you believe in, not only shows stability in what you believe in a little bit stronger, but also it shows how much bigger of a person you have and how much bigger of a mind you have to be able to sit and listen to somebody else's perspective. That's an amazing thing to have, and definitely never take that for granted. That is an amazing thing, and I love you for it. No kidding. No speed bumps intended. And I agree as well. You know, it's nuts to see other people, you know, really expressing for what they really think about. Rant time with Todd is good, Tom. Thank you, Minato. I'm really glad you agree with that. Not easily offended is a very good trait to have as well, especially the closer we get into Tom's here. Like, see, space travel is very prominent. People go to space. That happens. I can't talk to my family members about people going into space because they believe in not space for some reason. I don't get it. But this is like, let me just brush up on this and I'll get back to the religion thing really quick. Okay, yeah, pretty caught up. Okay, this is what happened with me with religion. Again, I grew up very, very Southern Baptist. Not bashing it. But here's why I have zero belief. It's just my way of looking at it, meaning no offense to anybody. Take it with a grain of salt as it happens. This was a real event in my life as it happens. In Southern Baptism, if you don't know, there's an event where somebody gets struck with so much fear they start crying unintentionally, and they just want to fucking pray. And they go to a pastor or a preacher, or a group of people along with a pastor and a preacher, and they talk to God spiritually, and you're saved. Eventually, they're like, oh, you get the fear? Well, that means you're going to go to heaven. Just, you know, pray every time you do a sin, ask for forgiveness, and, you know, pray the best hopes on others and do the best you can to be a good person, and you'll go to heaven. It's being saved in a very quick turn of events, and there's more to it, you know, live, prosper, be good for like 50 years or something. This is what happened to me. My whole life, I grew up in this very Southern Baptist church, very small Southern Baptist church. Same 50 to 75 people go into it my whole life. It's varied on the day. 50 to 75 people, no matter what. Same people, always, same families, always there. Every single person in these, like, generations of people being saved. My brother was saved, younger children younger than me. When I was 15... And this is what really got me, what ended the cycle, what ended my belief amongst all this time. I thought there was something wrong with me, the way they treated me going to this church. Like, I would go there, again, I've known all these people my whole life. My grandparents didn't switch it up. Literally the same 50 to 75 people I would see twice a week, every week. Getting saved, getting baptized, all this stuff, you know, all this crazy stuff would happen. And me, literally, I always sat in the back. Like, this was me growing up in church. Like, they had a row of, like, maybe 50 pews here, 30 pews here, and then 4 in the back. I sat in the back 4. Literally second row, to the edge, on the back, every fucking time. When I was 15 years old, I did this more than any other time. Sometimes I sat in the 3rd row with my grandmother. Most of the time, I sat in the back, by myself. Second row into the back row, not complete back, but in the back by myself, pretty much letting everybody know, early stages of social anxiety, I think differently than all of you, I don't even want to be here, I'm separating myself, don't acknowledge me, I'm in the back. One preacher hears of my demise, these generations, 4 generations of families at this church, younger children than me have been saved, all the older. Out of all of the, let's just round it off and say 75 people that attended this place, I'm the one person that hasn't been saved. Literally, I hear this guy, words come out of his mouth, I'm gonna save this one. Out of everything I've been taught to believe, those words should never come out of your mouth. I'm gonna roll with it, ignore it. I end up knowing this guy for 2 years. Motherfucker, he's a motherfucker. I'm not gonna sugar, he's a motherfucker. If I literally in my adult life saw this guy today in my adulthood life, I would call him a motherfucker. Okay. Looks me straight in my 15-year-old eyes as this happened. This guy attended my father's funeral. My father passed away when I was 13 years old. When I was 15, this guy was still the pastor at my grandparents' church. Went to my father's funeral. Literally, same God that said he would save me. Comes to me one day, and if you don't know Southern Baptists very well, they yell a lot. Like I said earlier in the stream, they yell a lot. Like, if you want to know how much they yell, they actually have an accent that they do between the yelling, mid-rant, where they go, ha, ha, or, ah, ah, or more prominently, depending how old they are, the is very differently. Well, this guy comes face to face with me, like, I'm using the webcam as a difference. Use your phone screen. You know, you can come a little bit closer if you want, but gets this close to me. I can feel his spit hitting at my face. Like, seriously, his real spit is hitting at my face. I'm in the back row, again, by myself. By myself. This guy walks from the front of the church. Let's say this church is literally the size of a football field with some spaces between pews. Goes from the beginning of the church all the way to the back to Tombles to get right in my face, to get his and literally looks me dead in the eyes and said, "You're going to hell, boy. Ain't nothing gonna save you but Jesus Christ, boy, and all of the righteousness of heaven and all above. You're gonna burn if you don't come to God, boy." And then his wife comes back there, preacher's wife. He's already yelling in my face. Whole church is looking at me. 74 other people rounded off. Could be more, could be less, looking at me. 15 years old. I literally woke up 2 hours ago, and now I've got this old man yelling at me. His wife cried on my shoulder, yelling me to go to the altar up front to pray while he's yelling at me, telling me I'm going to hell. 75 other people with their eyes on me, fucking faces white as ghosts, just like, is this really happening right now? If this was 2019, there would have been literally 75 people with their phone out recording this incident, and you would have saw it on YouTube, and I probably would have been YouTube fucking famous. This happened. I literally stand up. After all of this, after all of my life being told, like, it's your choice, you know, you gotta find your time when you start to believe in this thing, and you know, you gotta just, like, leap for it. That's your leap of faith. That's the whole faith. That's the whole grasping of the situation to know what's going on. This is God. And then I'll literally have, like, a dude maybe in his early 70s, late 60s, maybe mid 60s yelling at me. Wife cried over here. One's telling me I'm going to hell. One's telling me to go to the altar. My grandparents looking at me like, oh my God, Michael's about to freak the fuck out. What is he about to do? I stand up, I turn around, I walk out of the church, and I broke all ties. Like, right there, as soon as I walked out, I was like, this shit is not fucking real. And that's why I feel that way. I'm very strong. I've always been strong with science anyway. But that was the initial breaking point of religion to me. It's just like, this is the most forced thing that I have ever, like, I thought it was always like that my whole life growing up. A lot of people just making commotions. And again, I don't mean this out of offense, because a lot of times that is a thing. You know, some people just, they're wrong. They make a commotion out of something, or they just want attention. There's a lot of science behind that as well. But I don't talk about these things like that to ever offend anybody. Like, I've got reasons I feel the way that I do, and that's the reason I feel the way I do about religion. It was so heavily forced upon me in my upbringing of life that the adult version of me is literally looking at it like, no, I've lived life now since I was 17 to 25. Let me tell you, I've experienced some shit. So I'm not saying I debunk it either, because I could be wrong. I could be this guy out here babbling nonsense, and I could literally, you know, maybe that preacher will be right one day. You never know. But the thing is, probably not. And that's why I feel like that. But that's also why I love to hear somebody with more of a level head, though, that can actually perceive things to a substantial level of capability of being acknowledged to somebody else having a different opinion and not being morally offended by it. Like, that is a big thing. That is a big thing. Like, stand-up round of applause, big thing. Like, literally, somebody deserves that, to have a mindset like that and still believe in what they do as far as religion goes. Yes, even, like, that's what I was always taught. Like, it was supposed to be a choice, but no, it was always very heavily forced upon me. Thrusted, if you will. And yeah, it literally fucked with my head growing up. Like, probably caused some real life trauma. Like, I can't spend actual time in a church and enjoy myself, which is hard because, like, 90% of my family functions actually happen at churches, and I won't appear to the actual sermon. I go to the after party, if you will, and I'm just that guy. And they see this arrive at the church after party. Oh, they got opinions, let me tell you. Here's the question: after being spat on, were you saved? No. Like I said, I walked out. Like, I still go to my grandparents' church. I've known most of those people literally my whole 25 years of existence on the planet Earth. But there's ties to so many of those people that had just been broken off throughout time. Again, showing up to the after party of a church, you know, outing, you don't really look that great. And, like, when I say after party, they're not like drinking after party. They've got like Sam's Choice cola out here, Sam's Choice chips, and a bunch of home-cooked meals. And I'm eating like some 83-year-old lady that's just looking at me like I'm the spawn of Dayton's fucking sugar cake over here. She's just like, is it good? And I'm like, yeah, you must have put a lot of love in here. You was told there's no hell. I was not ever told that. I was always told that I will burn there. Humans don't know shit, basically. That's true. That noise is not mere. Barely know anything about the sea, let alone what happens when we die. That's true. That's true. Literally, we are blind to still 75% of the ocean. Fun fact. As Dead Mouse would say. I feel you, though. I feel you. All beliefs are valid. We don't know. Very, very true. That's why I love to be agnostic. I could be wrong about everything. And that's another thing to really look at it. There is a lot of things with, you know, religion that does show evidence to both sides. That's why I say I love the history of religion. It's the one stipulation, like with Noah's Ark, for example, that you really don't know. Because, like, let's say there's so many events in the Noah's Ark event that you don't know what part is true, what part was belief, and then what part was just far-fetched, you know? And Chaz, what's up? You came into a crazy rant, I'm not gonna lie. But, you know, those are some of the fun moments here on the channel. How was the Sunday, Chaz? Hopefully it was pretty damn good. Feel free to drop into one of your church's dinners. They'll probably ask if you wanted to go to the box. Go box after it ends. That sounds cool. That's not really how it was for me, growing up at all. Oh no. It was like after church, they had group dinner and then more church later. Like that was Wednesday was church day, sometimes Tuesday, sometimes Thursday, depending on the events and the day of the month. Once a Saturday each month, they had a singing night where they'd invite a musical group from another church to come in and sing. And then Sunday morning and Sunday night they had a service. And my grandparents went to every single fucking one of them. So I was, for 15 years of my life, being forced to every single church outing ever without any choice as to go whatsoever, unless my mother or father had something to say about it, which was pretty damn rarely. To be honest with you, I didn't grow up with either one of them. Make your basic assumptions how you feel about that. It's probably slightly true. My parents loved me, nothing bad, but, you know, some slightly true, probably, you know, thoughts you got going on in your head. Yeah, you know, more than likely true. But, I mean, at least, like, you've got still also a church that has a pretty level head, too. That's one thing that's also really cool to see in this world that, you know, there's this local church around. I don't attend to it because, again, I'm not religious, but, there's a local church around here called Rockbridge. And, it's actually a branch church. There's, like, a bunch of sister and brother and uncle, godfather. I don't know how that really goes with a church. I'm just, like, throwing out terms there with that one. But they have a lot of, like, branch churches out there as well. And, that's the thing about Rockbridge. They're, like, new, I forget what it's actually called. But it's the more updated version of Christianity. where it's like still Southern Baptist, but they go off like the New Tom's Roman or whatever the fuck book it is. I really don't know. I don't know, but that up-to-date thing, it's kind of cool where they have some science in with all of it as well. And some things are a little bit more explained. It's cool that they actually have that for people nowadays, you know, so you don't have people like me growing out there just being bluntly thrown at and shit like that. Because I'll admit, you know, it does scar you a little bit. It's not the best way to try to teach people religion through fear. I don't know where that theory even came from. Maybe the Nazis, you know. I hate to even compare it to that, but it seems like a pretty good comparison, to be honest with you. Not good as in, like, morality standpoints, but good as in, you know, pretty sure they compare pretty fucking well. Being that as, like, the way that I was, you know, Southern Baptist growing up, not as it is in general. Very, very, very heavily stating that. That's a lot. Durham Town? You won't regret it. What's Durham Town? Sounds interesting. The fear tactic was used for subjugation. I mean, it's totally understandable, though. Like, you know, if you've, like, subjected yourself to this, if you fear this, you're obviously not gonna do it. If, like, in-game is hell! It makes perfect sense. Is it morally correct? No! But I know that's not the job you were getting at, but damn, that's what my brain instantly said, like, just right after thinking it. Fuck. I thought I'd make it back. It's more of a relationship. That's probably a good way to look at it. Religion and fear are butt buddies. Fear me and love me. Or, hey, spend eternity in hell. But I love ya. Bluntly said, but yeah. Oh, the resort you told me about in Georgia. Okay. Sounds cool. Fear is very powerful. In Hinduism, it's taught to fear all... Wait, all fear is rooted in fear of death. That's intense. Can't be controlled if you aren't afraid. Honestly, in some ways I feel like that's why I like to be agnostic, but it's not really about control or fear. Really, it's just like curiosity and not wanting to accept anything to be correct when you don't really know what really is. Like, I would hate to spend my whole life believing something only to figure out by the end of it it wasn't real. Like, that was another thing, that comedian I was telling you a lot about. Yeah, actually, it was a morbid joke, but it makes a lot of sense. There's a lot of truth to it. Like, this guy wasn't even talking about religion. The whole joke of it was some dude in Texas, like, brings in religion to something that religion doesn't even pertain to, but he thought he would say it anyway. and it was talking about how, like, well, basically, this guy was just using how one thing in a situation isn't as bad as others. It wasn't even full-on morality. Basically, he was just stating the fact that, like, something that, the actual story was he was tweeting something. And, somebody looked at the tweet, didn't read the tweet, or basically pay attention to it, or take it for what it was, and looked at their own opinion on whatever the fuck they thought was going on in the picture, and thought that they would just, like, you know, depict their opinion on the matter and say that they were more correct. Basically, in short term, realistically, the words they used, they told this dude to burn in hell for what he had just shared, and that he would enjoy watching Hitler. No, I take it back. The joke actually had something to do with Hitler and the Holocaust. So yeah, I'll get back to, actually, I won't get back to that later. But yeah, that was the overarching thing. But he would, there was more to it, a lot more, believe me. It has nothing to do with Hitler or the Holocaust. Don't look at it like that. Don't take it out of context like this random dude in Texas did. What happened is, there was just something going on. Random dude in Texas taking it completely out of context and says to this comedian that he's going to enjoy watching the devil fuck him in the ass. And I love that the comedian was actually like, the first thing he said is like, okay, just implying that there is a devil and there is a hell. Not only saying that, like, you're apparently going to be there too. And like, you know, if that is the case, you know, if the devil was raping him or fucking him, like, who's to say he's not going after the Christian God next? Because why wouldn't he? Especially if he was there and said hell. It's a weird, morbid, fucked up joke with morality tossed all over the place, I know. But that is, it's a good, I feel like, standpoint and thumbnail to really break into everything that we've talked about here tonight. Like, we got some pretty deep shit going down here tonight, I'll even admit. But when it comes to morality, like, you know, it's just a weird place. It's an invisible line that gets drawn to realistically look at it. You don't share when it comes to quesadillas? Look, nobody should share when it comes to quesadillas. Like, I wish we had some, like, really sad music to play in the background, like In the Arms of the Angels or something. But let me say, like, there's probably, you know, there's 7 billion people in the world. So roughly, there's probably about 12 billion quesadillas that get ate worldwide. And literally, there's probably about 2 billion of those quesadillas that get shared with individuals around the world each time this happens. And let me tell you, it sounds like a really nice thing to do, but let me tell you also, quesadilla poverty exists. And, like, you know, you only get so many bites between your lifetime. Like, let's use that 12 billion quesadillas being probably produced in the world as we speak, or over the lifetime of life as it is. Let's throw some more math out there. You know, speaking of quesadillas again. You know, all the ones that you share, think of all the bites that you're not getting. Think about the accumulated quesadillas that just came into thought just now. In life, that is, you know, there. They exist. It's real. They exist. Those quesadillas aren't make-believe. Think of all those bots. All those, like, little nibbles you didn't get. Don't share those quesadillas. Maybe order an extra one. Enjoy life. You're only here for a limited time. Alexa, play something sad. Flat feathers, calm quesadillas around. Don't go Bob bringing me the horizon or suicide season, but wait, what? Play Don't Go Bob Bring Me the Horizon. That's actually a really good song. But it's not a very sad song, to be honest with you. I like where your mind's at. Flat Earthers claim quesadillas around. Flat Earthers. Honestly, that is, I'm not gonna lie, that is a real life thing that bothers me. Like, I'm not, like, so passionate that it bothers me, but it does bother me a little bit that there are legit people that will argue that the Earth is flat still. Like, it's 2019. We have been to space. We have seen horizons. But it goes without saying, you know, back to the Southern Baptist morality line people like to draw where I live here in the U.S. People here say dinosaurs didn't exist, even though we have fucking fossils. So, you know, take some stuff with what you hear with a grain of salt, I guess. You know, that's the only way to live loft these days. How crazy is that, too? Like, the further we get to a more, like, AI persistent, more virtual reality world, that's a reality we're gonna have to also, like, kind of start to perceive, too. Like, it's gonna get more and more seamless as we go. So, there's more morality lines that are gonna have to be drawn along the way, and it really makes you wonder where they will be, because, like, VR in general has already hit some pretty, discriminately dark places, you know, depending on where the disclaimer's drawing the line, rather, in that situation, I guess you could say. This sucks. I've got, like, no backup. This is, this happens way too often with me in this fucking game. Like, I get in these moments where, like, I'm so boss hog right now. Like, I could fucking drive a fucking tank to the front door of the other side and just set it all off, self-destruct, basically. And everybody else in my team's fucking off doing random stuff that makes no sense, and now we're losing. Like that. Oh, man. The full caps. Oh, okay. When play prop? Were some, you know, some pretty sad-ish songs, I guess. Also, the fake moon landing. Oh my god! The fake moon landing thing, I literally broke it down in the details because somebody asked me about it. Like, see, I've been reading, some conspiracy theories. Fun fact about the word conspiracy. The word conspiracy was literally created by the CIA. So, in saying so, the word conspiracy is a conspiracy in itself. Not to sound crazy, and I'm gonna map this up and, you know, wipe this down really fucking quick. This is what kills me about that. I literally think the government itself, and I hate to say it like that, and even add to anything that they could have just stated right there, to make it sound like they're any more sane than, or correct. Why are you turning around, Brute Justice? Like, just turn the fuck around. Anyway, I hate to even say it, but that is a big thing. That is a reality of the world that we live in. The government itself created the word conspiracy and the meaning behind it. Basically, to mask things, to make more people who, some of them are insane. We'll leave it at that. People are insane. They exist. There are insane fucking motherfuckers that believe in conspiracy theories that exist too. Getting back to something even more problematic, in some conspiracy theories, there is still some truth, which has been proved over and over, time and time again, for a very long time now through many situations. Okay. Just putting it out there, it kills me, hands down, when there's scientific evidence, not conspiracies, because that's apparently some people really fucking do this pretty fucking often as well. Thank goodness we won. I was really getting afraid there at the end. People confuse conspiracy with reality. Like, I will look at you right now and tell you, in the year 2021, we will have people working on the lunar gate on the moon. In the year 2020, they will be launched into space to do so. By the year 2024, there will be people living on the fucking moon. This is facts, I'm telling you. This is it. This is not conspiracy. It's fucking facts. This is happening. If you're not aware of what's happening in the US right now, this is it. A few fucking weeks ago, the president had the vice president go tell a very verbal announcement to the world, very verbal as in it broadcast on YouTube even, not only on live television, that we are building a lunar gate on the moon that will, in the year 2024, better yet, bring us to further and faster and more efficient travel to Mars, because that is our next step in humanity. The race to space is over. The race to Mars has began. That is the reality. SpaceX and Elon Musk have an earlier date on that. That is a reality of the situation that we live in on Earth right now. Not a fucking conspiracy. Oh my fucking god. Get off my stream and never come back if you think this is a conspiracy. Hands down, you will never be able to fathom anything else I say ever again after this. It's a reality. That's what's happening in our world right now. I talk to people in my hometown about this, and they look at me like I'm batshit insane. Like, I literally looked at a coworker. He's actually a superior to me at my job. When I have a problem that I can't fix, I have to go to this mechanic. Smart guy, got a good head on his shoulders. I looked at him in the eyes, and he changed my perspective in a matter of words, like one sentence. I like, dude, look at this. Looked at the live stream of the Vice President of the United States on my phone telling the world that we are building a lunar gate. This is happening now. Happening now. Changing the world. This is going to change the world. This is going to revolutionize the world. Like, we have people living on the moon. Think about how they're going to try to create alternative forms of energy. Think about when we have people in Mars in 2026. 2024, they're setting out destination. 2026, they'll probably make it there. Takes about 9 months. Complications will happen. 2026, they'll make it there. Think about the things that they'll figure out about Mars. Artificial intelligence, artificial energy sources, artificial gravity, so many technological advancements that can be made in not only human, but computer science all along the way, all along with biological science along the way. And I tell this to a motherfucker who I think is more intellectually adept than I am because he's a higher, like, you know, he's one tier higher than I am at my job. I look at this guy's like, dude, what do you think about Mars and space travel further? And he literally looks at me with a big dip in his mouth, drinking some coffee. We're both drinking coffee, so the coffee's irrelevant, but I figured I would put that out there too. Big dip in his mouth, look at me and says, spits a little bit, you know, dip in his mouth and said, I think space is fucking stupid. Space is fucking stupid. Who are you right now? And why do how do you have the right to use words? Space is stupid? Earth is fucking stupid. God damn. Literally, like 75% of Earth is like still Neanderthal out here. And you think space is stupid? It's an endless, vast void of everything and nothing literally exactly at the exact same time. And that is stupid? Further space travel is stupid. You have literally billions, like 30,000 fucking billion dollars probably being just like blown in the air over the last fucking 30 years. And this guy's coming at me telling me space is stupid? How do you even reserve the right to use like human function right now? What are you? Like, if you don't, if your next step in life isn't space exploration and it's only just existing, just go live in a field with a bunch of cows, graze, and do what they do, because that's probably where you belong. Like, humans, as we have lived, I've talked about it before, have nothing more strangely connected with us other than connectivity. We want to connect more with not only other life, but figure out more about it. Past, present, future, and current. It's part of being human, and if you like that, there is evolve. I feel like also if you like that what if factor, like you lost, like you're not even human. You just go graze. Ugh, space is fucking scary. I don't think it's scary at all. I'm very intrigued by space. Honestly, that's what it's like really fueled my knowledge and me wanting to build my knowledge more so of computer science, space travel, and geology. Because I full on believe in the advancements of going out there. Like, I want to know what's out there. Like, I would love to at least have that milestone in my life. On the one check off my bucket list, I have to say that's on there, because it's going to take a lifetime of achievements to try to do it. It's going to take a lot less of me being here and a lot less of me doing a lot more of the research that, like I said, that fucking broke my brain earlier today. But I would love nothing more than, by the time I'm dead at least, even if I died on the exploration of space, I would love to be a part of any space exploration program ever, fucking ever. It's always been something that's got to me. It's something that exists that literally my whole life I've been told that doesn't, like dinosaurs. People told me my whole life dinosaurs didn't exist. It wasn't in the Bible. Space doesn't exist. It wasn't in the Bible. What's beyond the sky? The heaven. Well, the heavens have been reached. Man broke through the atmosphere, and man has been into space. And now they want to go further out. I'm just about it. I mean, you just got to understand it from my perspective, you know, from the way, the outlook I've had on life, the way I've looked at life, being a man of science, being a man of exploration. I'm a ballsy guy. I will get on this stream and there'll be like 5 people watching. I will spill my fucking passion out. Don't think I'm not fearless. I will literally go to space if I had the opportunity. I would love the opportunity. So I've created a bucket list, and maybe it won't happen. And if it doesn't, I'm okay with that. If it does, I'm very okay with that. But I'm going to try to learn everything I can and be excited all along the way about space. Even if I have to, like, just, like, go into coding so far, I've got to, like, simulate my own version of space. I'm okay with that. Like, it sucks that I couldn't go. But if I could just, like, have that one little thing and just simulate that experience, I would be happy enough and happy. And I feel like that's an amazing thing to say, that that's something that, you know, the one thing in life that I think that I've found myself so passionately excited about, and that is space travel. Even if I can't experience myself, just the excitement, the math, the science, and everything that is behind space travel for what it actually is, it's so exciting to me, and I love to learn everything that I fucking can about it. Like, hearing about it from astronauts. Been doing, like, a lot of, like, live streams with astronauts and NASA and space doing their spacewalks, changing out batteries. Also, like, you know, on satellites and stuff. And also, like, doing, like, old interviews with other astronauts. A lot of cool things. And just the things they have to say, the perspective they have on the world. It's amazing. Like, the one thing that I love that they've all used is this perspective. You know, when you leave your hometown, you go to another city, you tell, you know, somebody say, hey, where are you from? You're like, hey, I'm from so-and-so. Like, in my case, if I went to Atlanta, somebody's like, in Atlanta, say, hey, where are you from? I'm like, I'm from Chatsworth. It's like 2 miles away. You might have heard of Dalton. It's like right beside it. If I go out of state, they'll be like, where are you from? I'm like, I'm from Georgia. If you go out of country, they'll say, where are you from? I'm from the United States. If you go out of the planet, you can literally say, I'm from fucking Earth. And just like that point of view on life is just like, when you've literally, like, you've left, like, that's a thing. You broaden your horizons when you leave the place. When you first leave your hometown when you're a kid, you're mind blown. Like, you probably don't remember it. I don't remember it. I wasn't technically even born in my hometown. So I definitely don't remember that feeling. But when you do actually start to get those surreal feelings when you're a child leaving your town to go do other things, like, you realize, like, say, like, when we would go out of town when I was a kid, I'd always have it in my head, I'm probably about to get something cool, and we're probably about to go out to eat. Maybe. If I was lucky. More than likely, that only happened when I was with my dad. Other than that, we more or less went grocery shopping. But still, there was the possibility of things that happened, and, you know, that was a chemical that went on in my brain. So, I don't really remember that experience, but I know what it was like to leave town. And I know what it's like now as an adult to leave town and go to a certain event. So that feeling still stays with you there, like a chemical balance in your brain. Like, you get it, you know that feeling. But think of what it has to feel like to go out of the planet and look down and see nothing but a ball of blue. And you're in nothing but a vast expanse of everything and nothing at the very exact same time, where there's no oxygen, no sound, no gravity. That's the scary part, yeah, I'll give you that. But at the same time, you're just looking at that little blue dot and you're like, damn, I came from there. And when I was there, there was everything. And now I'm in nothing. And potentially everything all at the exact same time. And maybe from what I used to fathom, being on that one little blue dot was actually nothing compared to what's really out here in the universe itself. And that's the most exciting thing to me there really is. Like, I'm one of those people, I strongly, like, very strongly believe there's other life out there. Like, Chris Hadfield, one of my life idols, literally says it better than any other person I've ever think. Like, it's literally, like, some people think it's science fiction to think that there's life out there, but it's more science fiction to believe that there isn't life out there. For there to be so much and that vast emptiness of space that we just can't really breach or travel to just yet, it's almost like far-fetched to think that we would be the only living specimens here. Like, even if there is a God, why would he only do one spot and not multiples? Maybe do comparisons like a fucking science experiment to see who's stronger and more advanced than the other, if anything. It's just an anomaly of life to really vastly think about, and it's really far-fetched to think that this planet's the only one that inhabits life. Even if they only have microcell organisms on another planet, I mean, it's still life, you know? It's just super unfathomable to believe that this is the only planet that we could have that. And just thinking that progressively and looking at life at, like, from the overstanding point, and I'm not even an astronaut, I'm just some dude who's researched space, life science, and computer science. I haven't even got to experience it yet. So just thinking about someone who has got to experience it, and, like, listening to them say those words, it's just amazing, already having that mindset as well, and having it expressed so clearly from somebody who has got the experience, that's just amazing. So I'd love to have that experience as well. Again, another really big moment that I just really had to hash out, but I've got my reasons. Took a pale blue dot by Carl again. It brings cosmic perspective into focus. What do you think about what is beyond this rock? Or wait, what do you think about the observable universe? More space. I shall put life on this rock and no other. This special rock. There's a Universe Sandbox game. Damn. I need to play Universe Sandbox. I would be very okay with being shipped out to Mars. See, the thing about that is, like Tsunami, the reason I could comfortably say that is, I live alone. My only company is you guys here on YouTube. My family, like twice a month, and my dog. Which, that's a vague thing to really question. Most technology is pretty advanced. Wi-Fi in space is fucking amazing. So, like, could you only imagine, like, think of me and my live streams now. Look, if you really have to know about my real life job, it's physical labor. I run a machine. When I say I run a machine, my job is to make sure the machine is still running, technically. So, I'm in a very, I got about 3 feet that I'm crawling under and about 8 feet wide. So, about 8 feet wide, 3 feet tall is the area that I actually work in for 8 hours a day, 48 hours a week. A space shuttle's bigger than that. And that is the biggest thing for people to get like away from, being by themselves in space in a small area. I'll literally already do this on a day-to-day basis. That part's done. I just need the knowledge to be able to, like, be up there a little bit longer. I wish we could bring Choco to space with us, but, you know, we'll see how the future really tumbles out. But I definitely 100% know I can handle it. Takeoff would be the worst part, honestly. Gravity sickness. Really, it's not gravity sickness. It's the lack thereof of gravity and the sickness that comes with it is the only thing I'm afraid of that I've heard a lot of astronauts talk about. Like, when you instantly hit zero gravity, like, your body's designed to pull liquids down. When you hit zero gravity, your body's not doing that anymore. It is through functionality, but it's not doing it at the same rate it was because it's not possible, because there's not gravity helping it being pulled down to the lower part of your body. Instead, it's being suspended in your body, and it eventually gets there. So, it makes a lot of astronauts sick. You know, their first day, a lot of them spend throwing up, vomiting the whole time they're there. So that's the real fear that I've got. I would probably get sick my first day. I'm one of those guys, I know my limitations on life, but being suspended in space for long periods of time, I know I could do it. Like, I know I could probably spend a good healthy 180 to like 320 days in space and still come back to Earth completely sane. The only things that I would miss is cheese, my dog, and probably gravity. But then again, I take that as I may. Like, when I see motherfucking astronauts zip from one end of the space starship to the other end, and they're laughing their ass off, like, I just look at that, I'm like, okay, you think you're gonna miss gravity because of the bad side effects, but these motherfuckers are up here having fun. So, there's that to take into account for, too. I feel like you just gotta experience it to really know what it's like, but I've never heard a single astronaut come back from space and tell me that they've had a bad time. Other than the effects, you know, the actual effects of dealing with gravity after being with no gravity for a long time is pretty horrific. Your body starts to leak calcium, as in the calcium starts to seep from your bones to your muscle mass. Your muscle mass starts to deplete because you don't have gravity. Without gravity, you don't have that force pushing you down. So you've literally got to constantly work out while you're in space to make sure you're not losing too much muscle density. So those are two big factors in space that you've really still got to work out that are still kind of horrific when you come back from zero gravity to gravity. But other than those three things, I literally feel like, sign me up for it. Like, boom. It takes 3 years to go to space. I will go 6. I will do 6 years of training. I don't give a fuck. I would love to go to space. The James Webb Space Telescope will be shooting off soon, maybe. 2021. It's exciting. Who knows, Rez? There might be a bunch of cosmic horrors eating popcorn. Could be. Imagine if we gave NASA as much funding as our military. The funny thing about NASA is, NASA does get taxpayer money. NASA does get a lot of other funding from other parts. I'm pretty damn sure Donald Trump's funding NASA as well. NASA's really not who you should be looking at, though. I hate to say it. NASA's doing good. NASA's going places. NASA has their head on right. They're not jumping the gun. They're not telling us anything too far-fetched. They're telling us things they will achieve and a timeline to achieve them. SpaceX, on the other hand, is where you need to, like, fucking have your focus on. There's motherfucking billionaires blindly throwing cash at Elon Musk, saying, dude, just do it. Like, what you said sounds cool. Here's $10 billion. Give me a seat. Let's do it together. And Elon Musk is just back here like, okay, I got the technology and the fundamentals to do it. My brain's big enough, and I probably got a supercomputer AI that's got to tell me how to do it anyway. I'll take your money, whatever, bro. We'll build it cheaper, and we'll both make profit. And you'll still get to go to space. Elon Musk is really where your eyes need to be right now. SpaceX is really doing real shit a lot faster than NASA, a lot more efficiently than NASA, and honestly, probably a lot more globally efficient as well. Like NASA, still using a lot of jet fuel. Yes, SpaceX is using a lot of jet fuel as well, but if you follow Elon Musk, he's very green, very solar energy, very electric energy. I feel like that's the next fundamental movement into space as well. Not more jet fuel and just a lunar gate. Yeah, we need all those things as well, but we also need a more fundamentally, exponentially, and affordable way to travel through space as well, which is another thing Elon Musk has done. NASA only wants to get to space, build space, stay in space. Elon Musk is building ways to go to space and come back to Earth safely, then go to space again. So that's another thing to look at. So much affordability going into something like that. Yes, Elon Musk is hands down a legend. I totally agree, Azunami. I hate to say it, but I will say it, get off on Elon Musk. Like, this motherfucker, holy shit, is changing the world that we live in. And this is something else I love to talk to my family about, and they act like I'm a fucking idiot. I'm like, this one man is changing the world. He's like a fucking messiah, and the rest of the world is looking at him like he's just some billionaire asshole, and he's not. I feel like he is a guy with social anxiety, with a brain too big for this world, and again, possibly either AI or a supercomputer. And he can answer any question that fundamentally gets thrown up his way like a fucking equation master. Acquisition master, if you will. And he's figured it all out, and he's changing the world for the better. But you have so many people in the conservative region, and also so many non-believers and flat earthers out there that just don't believe or want to believe that these things are perceivable or possible. And when he comes out and proves that they're done, like 2 years ago, Elon Musk had the biggest push for electric cars and was still getting laughed at. 10 years ago, he proposed the idea, proposing Tesla. Got laughed at. Nobody wanted to fund him. One guy funded him. Elon Musk changed the world. 2 years ago, still changing the world, still getting laughed at. Look at him now. Along, like Ford, Elon Musk and Ford are the only two car companies to never go bankrupt. Fun fact, right off the bat. Another fun fact, Ford's fucking failing right now while Tesla is doing one of the best out of all car companies, especially on electric car sales. Literally, pretty much every Tesla can autopilot itself through the US. Seamlessly. Almost globally, might add that. That is insane. Now he's building rockets to not only take us to the moon, or to space, but to fucking Mars. You do like Elon? But he doesn't do it all alone. SpaceX also works with NASA. That's true, that's true. More so, NASA works with SpaceX though. Like, if you didn't know, NASA literally just equipped their space stations with the lithium batteries that Elon Musk actually designed to go in Tesla cars. Also the same lithium battery design that he's using to power all of South Australia. Not Africa. He's from South Africa, Australia. I feel like I really had to, like, glean that in there. I've already had that happen today. Somebody tried to, like, argue with me saying he's, like, doing African stuff. South Africa's got it going on. He doesn't need to be there. That's where he's fucking from. South Africa is already a decade of ahead of the world. Don't worry about South Africa. A lot like Dubai over in wherever they are in, like, the Asia continent. South Africa's got some real shit going down. Some real shit. Okay, so South Africa, Asia, nothing to do with Elon Musk. Elon Musk, American-Canadian now. Born in South Africa, he's making real changes here. And that is amazing. And it's just his, like, the mathematical structure that he probably has built into his brain is an equation that the world needs to survive, I feel like. It's insane. Suck on a uranium rod. Lovecraft will be turning it in his grave. I knew it. It is crazy to think about, though. Like, just, this is one thing I love to, like, throw at people. Like, I've talked about it before on here, but just think, you know, 30 years, we've had access to the World Wide Web, you know? Public access to the internet. Only 30 years, and look what we've developed. I love this. Like, I love this. Like, again, a lot of us were born in the 90s. Late 80s through the 90s. Most of us here were born. So there's this huge factor. 30 years with the World Wide Web. Public access to the internet. And think of the things that were developed. Cell phones. Big one. We went from being, like, a load of you, like, again, I grew up with my grandparents. I remember my grandparents' cell phone were as big as this matchbox. Like, literally same fucking size with a flip and an antenna. Like, to call somebody, you had to flip down this little flap that had all the buttons behind it. And there was an antenna you had to pull up to get reception well enough to actually hear somebody that was probably still cutting out. The screen interface wasn't green. It wasn't touchscreen, definitely. It was orange, and it was very much like a calculator, as it is when you go to call somebody. So that was like the cell phones that my grandparents had that I grew up around. So, you know, fast forward 20 years later, World Wide Web, totally accessible for 30 years, you know, starting with Steve Jobs, obviously. He created a touch face interface on a cell phone, where we already had Blackberries, Blackjacks, PDF file phone styles that could actually download files, still have a full-on keyboard, and fully capable of sending emails and getting on basic web browser. Literally, okay, that was a small jump. In 20 years, we went from having a huge desktop to having a laptop. That was the first 10-year jump. The first 10-year jump, home desktop to laptop. You went from being a stationary web browser to web browser on the go in certain locations. Okay, let's go another 10 years into the future where you go, let's reel back, home desktop with web browser capabilities, limited as that, you know, to Wi-Fi 10 years later with web browser capabilities on the go, to portable pocket web browser capabilities on the go with also mobile advantages and GPS to figure out where you are, who you need to call, and what you got to do to get there, all given to you in a single second. Imagine the next 30-year plunge, the next 20-year plunge, the next decade plunge. Think of how fast we actually move in technology. Every single year, they come out with a new version of the iPhone with a new feature. Vehicles are coming out now with touchscreen interface and more personalized portions of the vehicle. Like, you could literally buy a vehicle in 2019, and it has 4 things that you can do with touchscreen interface right off the bat. 1, you could decide the music you want to listen to. 2, if it has video capabilities, you could decide what everybody sees and listens to also. So, you could really dial that back to 1, entertainment quality. 2, conditions quality. The way vehicles are designed now, it's not, you don't just have AC. The driver has AC and heat with heated seats. The passenger has AC, heated, with heated seats, with their own settings, what they want their vents to actually blow out upon them. Then the back seat actually has their own settings as well. So you got entertainment, condition, you've now got self-driving, and also touch face interface that gives you internet browser capabilities and also GPS capabilities as well. Like, that is where we are right now, 2019. The things we thought were just like barely perceivable have become possible. So what does the next decade, the next 2 decades, the next 3 decades, or maybe the next half century down the line, like, what the fuck are we really gonna have in technology? Nikola Tesla? He was a genius. He was a very huge genius. The saddest and most depressing part about Nikola Tesla, he died a poor man. Like, I probably got more money in the bank than what Nikola Tesla did when he died. That's depressing. One of the greatest minds of civilization of all time, where Elon Musk bases over half of his scientific capabilities and qualities and equations off of, died a poor man because he was born way before his time. And people wanted to disbelieve all the science and everything he had to say because they said it was not possible. That is depressing. That great of a mind was taken so unseriously and probably called crazy multiple times over just because people chose to believe in such moralities and a lot less of realities. The bomb, definitely. Gotta head out, got an early day, probably a long day. I feel ya. Same with me, Steven. Monday coming up, but Steven, I definitely hope you have a great night. Thank you for sticking around. Honestly, I need to go ahead and do this. Who wants to get on this Seiryu run? I've been on the ramble rant. I need to get some Seiryu going down. I'm gonna have to get out of here kinda soonish as well. Definitely want to stick around for a little bit longer, but Steven, again, thank you so much for sticking around. Love that you came in here, Steven. Love that you shared your thoughts and opinions on everything, and love where your brain's at. Always do, Steven. You're a great guy. You gotta get in here on Seiryu with us sometime. I'm sorry, you may have planned to, I don't even know. I'm glad you could make the stream, but I would love to have you on Seiryu with us sometime, Steven. You're another capable player I know that can handle it. Me, Resman, Otto, we've been trying to get it, but have a great night, Steven, no doubt. Predicted cell phones, yeah. Tesla also literally basically gave us the basic assumption of what the pyramids were actually for as well in a design, to better create and regulate electricity. Also, he had a better design for the light bulb, be that as it may, but, you know, the world gives Edison that. Hop on Minato, sounds good. Are you online now? Zombies, AFK. Rez is online. Where you at, Rez? You at home? Probably at home. I'll go visit. You know, as of everything I love to talk about, this is an overarching thing that I could really point out, like, very bluntly put, but still very well put as well. Like, how weird is it that we live in a time where we can literally sit and question our existence like that? Like, how fucking crazy is that? Like, that's literally the gist of the year 2019. Like, you can straight up question your existence. What a time to be alive, for real. Not online, you're a ghost. Looks that way. I'll go ahead and throw the party finder up. We'll get everybody in that wants in. Zombie's the AFK queen. He produced free energy, which wasn't in the interest of energy leaders. Exactly. It's so messed up too. It's like Edison as well. Like, Elon Musk had the idea of the light bulb, but bringing it to humanity so it could be used as an element to society for the better use of life, so we're more illuminated and not living in the dark. While you've got energy users and guys like Thomas Edison, a businessman, who see this and like, I can monopolize this, use this, and make money off of it. And that's the sad part of the real equality of the world that we live in that situation. The worst part about it is it wasn't until recent years in textbooks that they actually debunked Edison, but they still don't give credit to Tesla at all. But that's life, I guess. I mean, that's kind of like been the quality of life since, you know, always since the beginning of time. The sugarcoat of equality and expectation. You would join, but you just got put into duty. It's all good. I feel ya. We got Minato in there. Glad you could join Minato. Rez, you should get in here too. Would love to have you. Can you invite somebody to a party once you got a party funder up? You can. You cannot. Life is a pretty wild thing, though. It makes you mad because Tesla was the true champion? He really was. Like, it's gotta be so tough to be like, think about Plato. Like, when you are so smart in life, like, looking at Plato. And I'm not talking about the child's play clay. Looking at the philosopher, and might as well say, so much more, but basically we'll use philosopher. Looking at the philosopher Plato and his philosophy on life and how far ahead of he was for his time, could you only imagine how big of a curse that can be for him? But even as Tesla, like, think about Nikola Tesla, like how terrible it has to be up to date with your times but still to be so far ahead. Like, thinking about how fathomable that is sometimes, it's just so sad. Azure! Hey! Tell me that's you. I hope it's you. Props to Edison, though. Edison was an asshole, though. It's the only thing I hate about Edison. Edison technically really didn't invent much of anything. Like, probably about 10% of the things Edison sold, he invented. Everything else was just him promoting it or buying the patent to later use it to make more money. That is a huge thing about Edison. That is a big difference between inventors, people who changed the past, and people who actually made a difference in the world. Like, Edison really didn't. Like, literally all this guy did was promote ideas from others and try to sell those ideas or further expand upon those ideas or buy the patents to literally commercialize those things. And it is you. I thought so, as you are. I thought so. I actually got to do a quick BRB. Got to pee. We're waiting on one more tank, which was sadly the dilemma of last night. Hopefully we'll get in there. Give me just a minute and I'll be right back. Hopefully we'll get that tank. There it is. Gonna make it quick. But I gotta use the restroom right before we get started. These are the people that get me too sometimes. You ever get in these groups where, like, You have people who joined somebody else's group who could have potentially been waiting here forever, and then they throw up the ready check. It's like, dude, you just joined this party and you're the one that threw up the ready check. Who are you right now? Okay, good deal. Everybody's still here. Super delayed. Hit a quick refresh maybe. Sometimes that helps out. You put up the ready check. Minato, you trying to rush me? Burger King is good. It makes you mad because Tesla was the true champion. Props to Edison though. They were both scientists, so salute that. I feel you. You know, that is a big thing. That is the sad thing about Elon Musk. I really have to state that he wasn't technologically ahead of himself, sadly. Though he was smart enough to design all these things, he wasn't smart enough to sell them. And he was sadly dumb enough to actually, I hate to say this as well, sell the ideas to somebody who was smart enough to actually capitalize or monopolize upon them. So as smart as Elon was, he also had his, you know, his capabilities are fundamental. Like, I don't even want to say either one really. He had some pretty bad decision-making skills, but be that as it may, also he was a genius. He really was. I mean, you can't dilute that. That's also true. It's a big stating fact upon science, you know, and the like thereof as well. You know, it's really how it works out. And you're all good, Chaz. I'll be here for a little while longer, hopefully. Is this me and you in C, Minato? We both in C? let's hope we all have some good luck here. I trust Minato and Azunami and everything, but really gonna see how this really goes. We good? I hope so. Here we go.
If I must forsake myself to keep mine oath, then so be it.
You've nowhere to run. I'm giving you all these little squares. But you've got nowhere to run.
You ever feel like your outlook on life is just like so above everything else that you're just broken as an individual? I somewhat feel this feeling probably about like 9 times a week. Or like the perspective I have, I don't feel like I'm more substantially right than any other person in most situations. It's nothing like that. If you must know, I'm pretty like realistic, or I try to stay optimistic, but I can be pretty pessimistic as well, not even trying. Shit just happens sometimes. You know, you want to be positive, but let's be realistic. Shit happens sometimes. Well, like, you know, be that as it may, like, you ever get those weird situations like that, though? Where you're just, you just get posed with those moments. Oh, here we go with this. Let's hope it goes well. It's going decent, I suppose, for now. Kinda feel like we're gonna have to pick up a little bit on our DPS as we go a little bit further into all this, but it's definitely going decent for now. The mark is 74. I'm apparently pulling a bit. 82, 83, 84. That's a good spot. Like a really good spot, actually, as long as we can keep that up. So how does, like, what's everybody willing to actually get in on the conversation? What is your perspective, like, moving forward more close to the virtual world? Like, actually, this is one of the things I was trying to talk to my brother about earlier today, that I talked to you about, that he like literally can't perceive the ability to think of it because of the religion that we were both like forcibly like perceived to grow up on. But AI and virtual reality inevitably are moving faster than most technology than we have now. Like that is like the pursuit of human and man right now. That is our next stage in evolution, between like from like the neural link from man to internet, to the actual movement of consciousness to AI, or the actual perceiving of what consciousness actually is. Like, again, you know, somebody like my brother, like I'm trying to talk about for a little while now, he's super religion-based, has children, fear, his whole life, it's like in such a different actual place than what mine is in life right now. Well, being that as it may, his perspective on a lot of things are a lot different than mine. Oh shit, I was definitely on the wrong side there. And one of those things really definitely plays into the whole perception of things like that. And he believes that the further we get into the seamlessness of AI and virtual reality, the more we're going to be pulling away from reality itself, and he thinks that's going to be the end of the world. Me, I've done so much research on science and life science and geology on its own that I am pretty fucking, like, 99% sure I know how the world's going to end. It's not going to end just because of virtual reality and AI. We're not going to go into that for now, but it kills me how, like I was talking about morality and religion and stuff like that, and perspective now is something I'm leaning on. It's just like a huge thing that could perceive like the world that you live in and the reality that you live in, and to what you actually perceive into that certain reality of things. Like I said, like my brother actually believes that the end of this world will be us plunging further toward technology. I believe kind of the exact opposite. Like, I believe our further use and plunge towards technology eventually is gonna lead us away from it. Only because the further we get to technology, the further we push ourselves away from ourselves. But also, within saying all that, the more further we push into technology, the farther existence that we actually start to really kind of perceive as well. Like, what it really is, where it's really going, what's really happening with it, like everything, all of those things, all at the exact same time. Like, there's so much going on with space and how things can be perceived already. Like again, you know, I was talking very bluntly about AI and the technology that we have now. And virtual reality, along with the technology we have now. Along, you know, that it goes so much further and quickly back to what I was saying about the World Wide Web, you know, personal internet that you can use privately in your home, that we've only been capable of using for the last 30 years. Or, in, you know, better yet, in the last 10 years of having everybody so connected. You know, everybody has a cell phone nowadays, and every cell phone nowadays that everybody has a touchscreen interface. So, we all have basically a computer at all times with us always, ever. Feeding us information from each other, from opinions, to technology, to random code, to cloud code that people want corrected from the general public because they don't appreciate a bot. Or maybe a bot can't do it just as correctly as a human could just yet. I mean, there's just so much to the whole algorithm of life. And just like playing in those factors and being that it is those factors that make up life itself also, it's just so insane, you know? Oh, big whoop on fucking death. Fucking tank. I had to check food. You're all good, Rez. I totally understand. Only have one belief. I feel you, Ozunami. Also, glad to have, well, you've been in the party here. Does it have cheese? That's a good question. What's the food? What did you prepare? You literally do not have to say that. I was kidding around. So it's been a while since I've had a stream this long. It's been fun. I've really got to hit a lot of good points I've wanted to hit for a while. Chicken and Ross. Okay. That sounds pretty nice. Chicken and Ross. You know, something really cool and really basic to do with chicken and Ross is right after you've created such piece, throw it in a frying pan with you know, like either, I would say use cooking oil. Some people would say use butter. Butter's better for flavor, not that healthy. Cooking oil, not that healthy either. Healthier than butter. But throw it in a pan with some cooking oil. throw in a few seasonings, like just you know, like a less than a teaspoon of garlic, and also less than a teaspoon of black pepper, less than a teaspoon of chili powder, and then just having it with a few other certain things pretty basically. You got yourself a cool meal, especially if you do a full teaspoon of soy sauce and crack an egg in that rice in the frying pan as you fry it all with the chicken. Amazing. No! It's all good. You don't always gotta eat cheese. Cheese is amazing, but it doesn't always go together. Like, I could never imagine cheese with an egg roll. I love egg rolls, but I feel like it's one of those things where it's the one spot I couldn't put it. It's just like if you're eating, like, ice cream. I'm not saying, like, I know there's cheesecake in existence. Believe me, I know it exists. I know. But, like, outside of cheesecake, let's think of real-time cheese. Like, let's talk some, like, cheddar or some Goodwill cheese. Like, this shit's been aged for a bit. I couldn't imagine tarnishing it with ice cream. Unless it was maybe cheese-flavored ice cream that I didn't take into account for, that I've never tried ever, that I didn't even think about until now. Holy hell. Really want to make some Parmesan chicken soon. Hey, cheese anything's always great. Let me tell you. Well, I don't have to. You already know. Real, I feel you, Chaz. Take it easy, Chaz, no doubt. Glad you could pop in here, and also thank you so much for sticking around for a while. Listening to the Ton rambles. The random rambles of Tumbles. They come out every so often. But thank you so much. Hopefully you have a great night, and until next time, I can't wait. I will be on tomorrow. Well, really, maybe. Really, we'll see what tomorrow holds, and we'll see if I'll be on. But thank you so much for joining in tonight. Have a great one, and until next time, take it easy, Chaz. Oh,
None can match my might.
Oh, and fun fact about the good old curve of life that I grew up with as well. One thing I love to glean in upon is that when I talk about religion, I talk about life, I love to talk about equality. One of the things I really love to glean upon as well is the fact that, you know, we all do. I've said it multiple times. I grew up very Southern Baptist with my grandparents. On my mother's side, that is. On my father's side, though, one of the things that also set me down the path of realism and the way I feel about pretty much religion and the way of life in general as well is on my father's side, they followed Catholicism. So that was something else that was also really a really unbalanced force, I guess you could say, throughout my life. The morality was also just, you know, branched out as well. Like, when you grow up in such a well-cultured thing, like, you all know the race that I basically am. If you could, you can't really classify me. I'm a multiracial human being. Definitely proud of that. Love my heritage. But, be that as it may, it's not that commonly well known. And it's the same thing, you know, basically being said, put about the religious basis that I was based upon as well. Because I was also based and raised on a multi-religious point of view. From being from Catholicism to very strong, strict Southern Baptist. So, my morality and reality and a realistic look and point of view on life is very, very, very bluntly and very slate put. But it plays in again to, like, why I feel the way that I do about life and everything. Just, I feel like I had to put that out there. Like, I'm starting to get toward kind of the end of my night as well. I'm starting to get pretty damn tired. I was really hoping we could get it cleared. Maybe we will, but I've been on here for quite some while. LJ, hey, LJ, glad to see you over on Twitch. Actually glad to see you, period. Doesn't matter what format you want to hit me up on. Glad to hear from you. But LJ, hopefully you're doing good. Oh, hit me up on YouTube as well. I'll see you down there, LJ. But yeah, you know, when it comes to like my point of view on life, I've always had a very broad horizon that has been very heavily forced upon me. So my own brain has always like sought out so many other ideals compared to what I was actually forced to believe in. We just hit that 40%. So dead. Why did everybody stack in the same spot? Thank you, Minato. Slide into the DMs. That's that real. The real. Holy fuck. 24%. That was my bad on that one, really. I honestly thought the fucking giant back there was gone by this time. Okay, we're at a good, healthy 19%. I think we got this. I'm kind of being the weak link at the moment. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little tipsy. I'm a little tired. I'm a little hungry. I've been on a rant for like 3.5 hours, and honestly, I'm just getting pretty tired. Really, 15% though. I think we got this. 12%. This guy Curse Keeper going on, so we're not doing Filth Element yet. We definitely got enough time. We're at 11%. Filth Element coming up, but not the Enrage. 9%. We're getting close to Enrage, but I think we got it still. Let's do it! LB, whatever, 4%. This should do it. Not quite. 3%. 2%. 1%. This should do it. Getting a good old Bahamut run out there. Everybody else doing their mega attacks as well. Should just swap them the fuck out. Yeah, there we go. Good deal. Seiryu Totem. Got the Mendacity out there. Nice. What do we get? Daggers. I've already got my Seiryu weapon, so it's irrelevant for me, really. Somebody got their daggers there tonight, maybe. That was fun. It was fun. We got it clear. Third Seiryu clear down. Hopefully we can get more along the way. See if this party wants to keep going. I love how close the Free Company house is actually to the pool hot tub area and market board. I honestly feel like it was a stroke of luck that we actually got this place. I really do. Oh yeah. That high end shit. Free daggers, you'll take it. Hey, do what you gotta do. Like, once I got the Grimoire, like, it pretty much everything, unless I get the Watt Mage weapons, kind of irrelevant to me, to be honest with you. But I feel you, you know? Join the ride the wave, get what you can. Need food buffs from market board. What do I got? What do I got food buffs in my inventory? I don't think I actually have anything that's gonna help the summoner. Maybe if I was playing anything else, maybe, but nothing on my summoner at the moment. Food wise. Actually, I could probably boss something really quick just from in here. I was about to go search for something or maybe make something with my culinary, and I started thinking somebody here probably is selling something. Probably a junk monger. 360 to 380, holy shit. That's a big jump. A huge jump, no doubt. What you got? Nothing. Shit, I'll use what I got. I got a little orange juice, I think, already. I'll just drink some. Actually, I thought so. Maybe not. Fuck it. Grilled dodo it is. It's not that relevant, but what ifs. Let's hope we have some good luck. Luckily, it's the same group, so positions doesn't, like, they literally don't have to change at all, thankfully. Hi, YouTube. Hello, hello. Always love to see it when somebody in the party is streaming. It's always a funny and cool thing at the exact same time. Streams are always fun. We're being watched! Honestly, as much as the crazy shit I'll probably talk about, like, let's be more real. The public aren't probably the only people watching us. It's probably like the government occasionally as well. Like, I know you're out there playing 14, but, you know, let's be real. This motherfucker out here was talking about some exponentially crazy fucking shit that isn't slightly non-existent and is existent within the world that we live in already fundamentally today. Not to mention what could come in the near future. Oh, Rametama. I know all too well.
Beg not for mercy.
Okay. We're actually not doing too bad right now. Really, DPS is up pretty well, thankfully. Knock on wood, it stays that way. 85%.
Tremble before true power.
Boa. Shit. We're getting there. Actually, we're pretty predominantly on board with DPS so far. Knock on wood, it stays like that. It's climbing a little faster, actually, than I thought it would. Oh, shit. Okay, yeah, we're getting there. Good deal. Still on the same board, pretty much. I was hoping it would be a little bit farther, I'm not gonna lie. It was looking like we would be, and it got a little scary there. We're getting there, though. I think this is actually going to be my last Seiryu run, unfortunately. I'm just starting to get very tired. I'm getting very hungry. And not only that, I do have work tomorrow. And not to mention, I've been on here for a very, very long time. 3 hours and 37 minutes so far. So, I think this is going to be my last Seiryu run for the night. I wish I could farm it out just a little bit farther, but I still gotta eat some food. There's still a lot of actually gotta compile into the knot as well. So it'll probably be my end here after this this clear. I'm confident we'll get another one. I mean, it's a great party, hands down.
can match my might. Flesh of my flesh, show them their folly.
Oh, fuck folly. %. Here we go.
I must have more.
That's where shit starts to really get game changing. Literally. Ramitama.
You've nowhere to
64%. Oh shit! I'm definitely. Whew. Lucky soul is what I am right now. Holy hell! I thought I just died. We're at 60%. I think this might be the best run yet that we've had.
You brought this upon yourself.
53%. 52. 50.
Beg not for mercy.
Are we getting there? %. I don't know what it is about the 30% range. Somebody always usually hits the MB, well, the LB. It's about to happen probably. We're hitting 43%.
How it burns.
42. 41. 40. 36%.
Tremble before true power.
Boa. Fuck.
Flesh of my flesh.
29%.
Their folly.
Oh, fuck. Dead. Dead beyond dead. Dead as dead gets. Oh, shiz. Beyond the riz. %.
Flesh of my flesh. Show them their folly.
16%. %.
Beg not for mercy.
10%. We're almost there.
No! I will not lose.
He's about to do his good ol' the good old task breaker. Good old move breaker. In-game move. We're at 4%. We've got this. We're about to finish up. %.
Upon yourself. You've nowhere to run.
Ah, shit. I was gonna try to do the LB right there at the end, but still, yeah, we got the another clear. Good deal. Good party, no doubt. Samurai's arm, another good one. Honestly, as much as I hate to, I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it here tonight. Though I'm getting very tired, very hungry, very sleepy. I do have to work a I have to work a full shift tomorrow at my full-time job. Oh no, I realized it, Rez. Not Rez, but Minato. My bad. I realized it, Minato, but you know, I appreciate you for it. We'll leave it at that. Good run. Same to you, Ozunami. Thanks for sticking around. Glad to have you. But I'm gonna call it here, no doubt. I'm very tired, again, very hungry. I'm gonna get out of here, and I do hope you all have a great night. No doubt. It was a lot of fun. Thank you all so much. I'm going to get out though. Definitely a lot of fun. And everybody, I really am going to get out of here. So thank you so much for watching. Thanks for sticking around through the rambles. It's been a great night. It really has. I've had a lot of fun. thanks you for hearing me out and hearing my ideals and ideas and my outlook on life, no doubt. Azunami, good night to you as well, and also you take care. Hopefully that party for everybody there. I noticed you leave around the same time I did, but I do hope, Minato, you and the party do actually, you know, excel a little bit, maybe a little bit more. We'll see. But no doubt, definitely glad that Azunami, you could help out, and also glad to have your help and fun as well, Minato. It was fun. Glad to get 2 clears. I'm glad we got those 2 clears as well. Definitely met my expectations and exceeded, no doubt, Minato. Thank you so much for joining in. And Rez, good night to you as well. Thank you all so much, and congrats on that Sam Sword Azunami. But no doubt, thank you all so much for watching tonight and getting in on the conversation, my ideals, and you know, just everything tonight. It was a cool night. I really enjoyed it. I got in here earlier and got to stay a lot longer than I normally do, no doubt. And LJ also, thank you for hitting up not only YouTube, but Twitch as well. Thank you all so much. But Azunami, Minato, Rez, have a great night. LJ, you too, and Chaz, thank you all so much for the support jumping in here on YouTube. Steven, glad to have you. Hopefully you have a great night as well. Definitely enjoyed all of your company and time. Mira, hopefully you have a great night. I know Zombie was AFK most of the night. Hopefully if you watch any of the stream, hopefully you have a great one as well. And Karumi, I know you got in here, and anybody I may have missed along the way, no doubt. Thank you so much for watching and participating, or, you know, just believing in the channel as it is, no doubt. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, but I'm going to get out of here. Again, I'm very tired. So until next time, I'm going to try to be on as soon as possible, maybe tomorrow night, but we'll see. Till then, I'm gone. Good night, everybody. Take it easy. Have fun. Till next time.